I'm going to drop the bombshell at 99%. Let's not stop this win streak. Let's make history. Let's have an undefeated major run. Let's have Vitality throw in their hat in the ring to be in conversations against Astralis until the end of time. Let's have this roster led by Apex. He's got some fucking energy, and so should you. Let's fucking go, Vitality. I'm happy to witness history. This ain't boring to me. They're going to keep holding you at arm's length. They're going to keep being down 12-6 and bringing the game back. I'm fucking on board of the Vitality major victory. And I don't use this word often when I'm talking about competition because competition is earned. But if anybody deserves to win the major, it's Vitality with the season that they've had.
Sell in-game items at the best prices in just a couple of clicks. We are the biggest instant sell service for in-game items like Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, and Rust. Easy selling process and instant withdrawal of funds to the most popular payment methods. More than 140,000 deals and 50,000 active sellers every month. Use promo code HLTV5 and get a 5% bonus on the sale of your skins. Skin Place. Sell items now.
When every move counts, your chair shouldn't hold you back. Top esports players are switching to Anthros for unbeatable support and performance that keeps them in the game longer. Designed to support your unique shape and built with medical-grade components, Anthros is setting a new standard for comfort. Check out the Anthros difference today and get ready to fix your sit, because gaming deserves more than just a chair.
Hey, big news for you HLTV confirmed enjoyers. We've got a new sponsor, Stake. And thanks to them, our What Are the Odds segment just got a whole lot better. Now, the wagers from What Are the Odds become real limited bets on the Stake platform. Not only that, but each wager will feature a $500 lucky winner raffle. Visit the link for more details.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Counter-Strike time, the major, one day away. I'm live direct into your living rooms around the world for HLTV confirmed. It's Monday. It's Monday, everybody. It's in the morning right now in Austin, Texas. It's 7 a.m. I got Prof, I got Striker. Now, I would have had Ash, but unfortunately, he's had to cancel. So hope everything is good with Ash out there. But we've got Dempz instead, who is British. So, Dempz, do you feel okay representing the country of Britain this evening?
Yeah, God save the king. That's all I have to say for now.
All right. We do love Charles around here. Now, you've had some things going on this morning as well. Prof, what's happened to you? Because everyone's had a problem today.
Bro, I mean, everything has been very problematic so far about this episode. But, we had obviously a lot of things in the background, new sponsor coming in. So there's a lot of little things. But on top of that, obviously, your luggage got lost last night, which is already kind of a warning, orange light, maybe a red light, bad omen. You managed to get it back in time. At the same time, Ash messages me, maybe I can't make it tomorrow. He can't make it. We find a replacement. I'm like, okay, cool. We're ready. We're rolling with this. I'm taking a shower before the episode. Lights go off. What's going on? No electricity in the whole building. I'm like, okay, so now I'm warning signs. Maybe I can't make it, calling the landlord lady, whatever, what's going on. They're calling the electricity company. They're coming in. It's not going to be ready in time. So I'm like, okay, need to go somewhere else. I take my laptop. My laptop obviously doesn't work because 2 days ago, it just magically shut off and doesn't want to turn on. But then I managed to fix it. So I fixed that, picked up all my shit, went over to my mom's place, sent her to her room. And now I'm here looking like I'm a captive in a small state with questionable governing authority. That's
well, you pulled it off quite quickly. You stuck the landing. And that's the main thing, right? That's what we're looking for right now. I stuck the landing on. I left Grand Rapids with Jason and Alex, and their bags all made it. and my bag didn't. So I can't possibly imagine how that happened. But and I checked in between the two of them, so it's like there's like a bag sandwich. You know, it's not like my bag was last or first. It just didn't make it. So I got mine late last night. I packed everything in there, microphone, laptop, because I'm a psychopath.
I actually don't know if that's you shouldn't be doing that. I'm pretty sure you can't pack your laptop.
Yeah, you can. You just have to make sure it's off, and you put it in a lovely thing like this blast logoed laptop cover that I got back at one of the first Blast events where they gave us flight cases. I've been using that for years, and the laptop's fine. So that takes us to our next point. Striker, what's gone wrong with you in the last 24 hours?
I might or might not have eaten some chicken that's gone off, so we'll see during the episode how that goes.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. That's a prospect for the episode indeed. Gentlemen, I need to thank our sponsors, of course. So we've got Anthros. If you're in the marketplace for a chair, check them out. I told you guys last time. Yeah, they're manufactured in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The greatest place in America as far as I'm concerned. We also have Skin Place. If you want to sell some skins, head to Skin Place. We'll be doing Skinionaire a little bit later. And finally, we have a newest sponsor, Prof already touched on it. We have Steak sponsoring the show. So if you guys want to head over to the other streaming platform, we will be doing the Skin Place giveaway there as well. We're going to work out all the particulars for that later. But yeah, these are the new sponsors of the show. It's Steak. And yeah, we'll see how things go. Hopefully I don't fuck it up on day one. Okay. Let's get into the show, shall we, gentlemen? Because the major is kicking off tomorrow. Today is media day. A lot of the teams traveling in. And we want to get into the meat and potatoes of that conversation. But I think what's important for us to do is just quickly touch on a little bit of recent news that everybody was tweeting about. And that was to do with Katowice moving to... And I even wrote something up so that I can post it in the little newsy bit. And then bang, bang. There we go. Look at that. IEM Katowice becomes IEM... Oh, I spelled it wrong. Well, that's a problem. It's a W, guys. It's a W. Now, I saw there were a lot of messages like Katowice held such an important place in my heart, and it's going to be sad to move on. Is that the sentiment of the room?
I don't know. I think it was time. In my opinion, it was time to move on. It reached its limits, reached its peak potential, I feel like, in Katowice, and simply if the tournament wants to keep up with the rest that's happening in the world, it just needs to be in a bigger venue, needs to be in a venue that can accommodate for the audience that, if you want to put it in the same category as Cologne and the majors, there's a bunch of tournaments with 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people coming to the event now, like the Cliches, the Melbournes, Dallas, that's all it's not that big of a difference from Katowice. I think just the city had some limitations. So in my opinion, just
you
made sense.
You sobered up, Prof. You sobered up. Where's the emotional response to the city that we've been going to for 10 years? I need that from someone. We need someone to be positive.
You can get it from someone that's probably going to be Striker, because 1 hour from his home. So he's going to be like, oh yeah, the best city in the world. But I didn't go this year. I didn't feel like I missed out on anything. That's how I felt, very honestly. And I just have to put it as a side note. Hanover, what the fuck is that about? Where did we pull that one out? No one mentioned Hanover as a part of this story for the last 10 years. No one mentioned it.
Comic really likes his history.
I really likes his history. It was just obviously a way of setting up oh no, it's still the same tournament. It's it is. It's fine. But also it's very, you're really grasping on here to make it like a storyline of continuation.
I think TS-wise is the problem, because generally, historically, this tournament or this event hasn't just been CS. It's just been a big festival, kind of.
Yeah.
And that did start in Hanover, and that had the global, what was it called, World Championship in IEM World Championship at the time. It was called in 1.6 in 2008 to 2012, I think it was there. So there is definitely that history exists. It's not just made up. This tournament never existed before. This sort of an idea of a tournament and all that stuff. But obviously, as the years went by, it became kind of mostly a CS tournament in the arena, and there was not that much else happening there. Obviously, the festival part of it still exists and all that stuff. So there's, I understand the attempt. I don't know how much of that is going to carry across to Krakow. I would imagine a lot of it. So I guess it is still it is carrying on that legacy. But for me, I am the guy who's literally been there I think legitimately more than the times that there's been a tournament in Katowice, I've been there, because I was there for the main qualifier for Cologne or whatever like that, and I think I didn't miss a single of the like big Katowice events. I was there like for Challenger last year when or like earlier when Simple was there with Falcons, literally just to get Simple, because it is 2 hours. It is a 2-hour drive, but then again, Krakow is like 40 minutes more. It's right around the corner.
You're still driving.
From
He's
Katowice.
still driving, everybody.
I'm still driving.
Nobody panic.
I'm still driving.
He's still driving.
It is.
How do you?
It is a bit sad, you know, to leave the city behind. But I don't know. I mean, there's a big step up, you know, to Krakow in terms of what the city has to offer and all that stuff. Only been there once, but it's an amazing city. So way better for tourists to attend. Except it has no Masala House.
We'll find a new gem, I think, Striker. Dempz, where do you fall on this side of the fence? Are you boohoo Kato, or are you yay, the future is now?
I've got to be honest, I've never been to Katowice, so, you know, bear that in mind. But does any, like, normal viewer actually give a shit, like, that we're moving away from Katowice?
It would surprise me. It would surprise me if they did, because it, like what Prof said, it's just the tournament in a new venue, essentially. So yeah. I'd be surprised.
And most people don't go. Like, you know, a very small percentage of the actual viewers go and watch the thing live. So for most people, it really doesn't matter. I think having a bigger venue is always great. It's one of the most prestigious events in Counter-Strike. So having a bigger, better, more prestigious venues, I think only a positive thing. And I've never been to Katowice, so nobody get mad at me. But isn't Katowice supposed to be a bit of a shit city?
So this is the thing, right? The city has evolved so much in the last 10 years of us going there that I remember going there in 2014 for the second major. And back then, yeah, it was just a mining town. There wasn't a lot going on. Finding a cafe, speaking to people in English. I know. I'm sorry, I don't speak Polish. That was tough. But then over the course of the last 10 years, I've seen like the city evolve, and there's become like more of an outdoorsy type atmosphere there. There's become more cafes and restaurants and everything. So the city has like quite truly evolved over the last decade. And I think Striker's bang on in the sense of there's events that have been on in that city, not just Katowice at the start of the year. Some of the qualifiers we played in, we'd go out there to the studio and stuff. So it's changed a lot. But as far as cities go, I don't think it's going to be able to hold the candle to Krakow, which we went to in 2017, and that had a much, much different vibe to it from the get-go. So
it was
huge.
It was also summer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true too. I do avoid calling cities shitholes, just because, you know, some people live in these places, so we want to.
Kind of.
I've never been. It was just on the grapevine.
So.
It's just a British guy talking shit about Katowice. You know, we've been there before, so we need to just be careful here, Dempz. All right. But you can't get cancelled from not going there. So because we don't need to go there. Actually, you never know. Maybe there'll still be a tournament there. You never know. Striker and I say as we know there'll be a tournament there.
PGL Katowice.
I'm not telling you shit, Prof. You got to pay for that type of information around here.
In all fairness, I didn't say it was shit. I said I'd heard it was shit. So that's on like the PR department of the Katowice city. You know, like, nothing to do with me.
Per sources.
Yeah, per sources, fair enough. Exactly.
Fair enough. Okay, I think the headlines of this one comes across as it's going to be a big... one thing that people might not realize is that the way that the Spodek is structured, there was no ability to run a stage setup that wasn't built from that scaffolding, because anybody who's been inside the Spodek, if you look up, you can probably even find images on Google, the way that there's like a skylight and the roof juts out a bit at the top. I know you can't see me right now, but just imagine the jut out bit at the top of the roof of the Spodek. There's no trussing that can, like, it's not load bearing. Yeah. So you were unable to hang anything from that, which meant that there wasn't a lot of flexibility with what they could do with the stage in Katowice.
I mean, I think screens was the biggest issue with that, you know, because technically, like in a 360 stage, you don't really need to hang anything else from the scaffolding too much, you know. At least you can fix it in other ways, but you know, big ass screens and all that stuff for people to be able to watch and all that stuff would have been an issue.
Yeah, I think that, you know, Krakow will allow some differences in the setup, and I think people also need to realize that on the back end, I don't actually know, but the speculation coming from me, which I think is fair speculation, with a lot of these events, there tends to be negotiations with cities, and if a city's willing to offer more money to bring that event to their town, then as a tournament organizer, who we know are always having a little bit of a tough time, then yeah, maybe that's the play. Maybe that's what they're looking for right there. So yeah, I think it'll be maybe a more diverse crowd because of the locality. Like getting in and out of Krakow is a little bit easier than getting in and out of Katowice. It's still going to be winter time, so I don't think it's going to be a tourist. You know,
it is still a nice place to go around, though. Like winter or not, I mean, it is a very historic city. So there's plenty to see, winter or summer, it doesn't matter.
All right. Well, let's not spend too much time on this because we're here for the major. Is there any other recent news, Prof, other than the sponge thread that you pointed out to me on HLTV?
It was a great thread, but no, not really. Honestly, I was looking through. There's nothing. Nothing really happened. Everything is just like a lull before the major, from all I know.
Are you guys?
We don't
that
care
way?
about the three spirit academies. Full of fucking 15-year-old kids who are like 33,500 elo on FaceIt.
Someone posted like the meme, like the flirting versus harassment thing, and it was like looking at the spirit one and then the EG one. They're not the same. Like the EG one in the beginning as well. I remember when that news came out at the time, I was like, well, I don't know. I've never run a team. This might work. Like, let's let him run it. And then it was dog shit. And then I piled on. But at least I gave him like a runway. But that's not
but that was not
news.
15-year-olds. You know, that was like 25-year-olds in the third academy of that team.
True.
You know?
It
Wasn't Faunal on it? He was like 29
so.
or something.
Yeah.
Some
And it was
older
like-
lads out there.
It was like 3 out of the top 10 teams in the US at the time. So, you know,
It's
it
a
doesn't
bit
really
different, yeah.
doesn't really make a lot of sense, you know. And you know, the Spirit Academies, 15 years plus, I'm fine with that. Like 9-year-olds and shit like that. That's, to me, that's kind of weird. We need to I feel like that's something we need to take a good look at and talk about if it makes sense and how it makes sense, because like seeing literal children sign contracts, I'm not sure.
Parents are there, don't you?
Yeah, but like, what does that mean? You know, we should.
What do you
I'm
mean?
just
That means
I'm just
it has
saying.
parental supervision. That's
yeah,
what that
but,
means.
but there should be some, like, I would say, more protection and transparency around these things. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
what I'm
That's
saying.
the point. Like, we don't really know.
You have no idea what they're
We
signing.
don't really know anything, right? But I mean, you see this across sports everywhere. I mean, fucking F1 starts from like 6-year-olds being in go-karts, and like those kids already get certain, you know, guarantees and all that stuff, you know. So it's
But
not
generally,
really
like
new.
there's a difference between like a junior contract and a senior contract, like in football, for example, and there are some limitations in terms of like length of contract and, you know, stuff that you can do with a junior, right? And then if you go into seniors, then you can sign like 5-year contracts or whatever, you know, stuff like this.
Sure.
Okay, don't get me into that's riveting conversation, contracts. Okay, look, Dempz, now we've been in a little bit of a lull right now. Is there anything on your radar other than the major? I just want to make sure we get all the housekeeping out of the way. Is there anything that we may have missed right now that's pertinent to the viewer?
Nothing interesting, no. Like there's small bits of news here and there. Fnatic won a LAN. That's cool.
I saw Khan make a tweet. He was celebrating on the rooftops. He was popping bottles of champagne. It was one of the biggest LAN victories in Fnatic's
Fnatic
history.
are back, baby.
Jesus, they beat, what was it, Ents?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Well, at least it was a LAN, and the trophy they won was a shield. So that, you know, a win's a win. That's what I've been saying for years.
Tricked won 3 tournaments. No one's talking about this. They won 3 tournaments back to back. Do you know this, Chad?
Valda's and Tricked.
Yeah, they went from number 200 to number 50 in the world over 3 tournaments. No one really knows the names of, but it's pretty cool. I support that.
Salad Bar, he's also in Tricked. So, yeah. His name's Salazar, Salad Bar. Come on, man.
Bro, I was thinking this is like an iceberg, this joke.
Hey.
Because he was in those combinations.
Let's get into it, shall we, boys? Let's get going. Okay. So, actually, there was one thing I saw on Reddit when I woke up in my 6 a.m. haze of, oh my God, what time is it? Where am I? How do I walk around this hotel room? Do I have my suitcase? About the Na'Vi junior squad being like $1,000 just off of what Na'Vi have made for the season.
100,000.
What did I say?
You said 1,000.
1,000, 100,000. I told you, 6 a.m. haze. It's only 7:20 right now. Na'Vi Junior has earned 211,000 this year, just 100K less. Okay, 100K. That's for an academy team. They're doing pretty good. I'll give them that. Okay, let's get into it. No more fucking around. We're gonna get into Skinionaire. That's Who Wants to Be a Bloody Skinionaire? That's brought to you by Skin Place. Now we do have the stream on the other platform at the moment, and you can go there and you can type skin place as well, or you can type it in Twitch chat. What we're going to do is, at the end of Skinionaire, we're going to draw a winner from either, but then you're going to battle. It's going to be a head-to-head battle between those two winners. Is that correct, Prof?
Yeah.
Okay, now I don't know if we can logistically do that. I'm waiting for a side.
Let's actually just do it. Let's just give it to both. Or
give it to both?
Yeah, we can do that.
Wait, we're
So
gonna
now, and then we can figure out, because obviously Lucas has dropped the ball in some of the preparation here. So let's just give it to both.
Okay, so if you're in either chat, you can type skin place. But I will say, if you're in the other chat, that you have a higher percent likelihood, I would say significantly higher, to win. Like right now, it's looking like 100 to 1. So look, I would just consider it throughout this quiz, and I will slow down the talking and give you all a chance to enter both draws. Okay, let's get into this. I need to find my little quiz page. Fucking laptop. Can we get a laptop sponsor? I need a new one. All right, here we go. Who's doing it? Are we getting Dempz to do it?
I think we should get the Dempz to do it, yeah.
Right, you're going to have to explain this to me, because this is the part of the podcast I always tune out for.
Hey, me too. Okay, so this is Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire, brought to you by Skin Place, our lovely sponsor. It's
Shout out
5
Skin
questions. They're multiple choice.
Okay.
You will get 60 seconds to answer each question. Each question that you get correct will move the slider up on the value of the skin, which you are a champion for. 2 lucky viewers.
Oh, God.
Okay. So
I won't let
there's
you
a
down,
lot of
guys.
weight on your shoulders right now. Are you ready for the challenge?
Okay, let's go.
All right, let's get into it. Question number 1. Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire, brought to you by Skin Place. Is Chinggis Warriors the only full rookie team at the major? Yes or no?
Oh, my God.
Striker can help you if you require.
I know all the answers.
I can help you if you require.
I think they are, you know.
What about Nemiga?
Oh my God, yeah, you're so right. Yeah, no.
You happy to go with no?
I'm happy to go with no. I'm going to lock it in.
Go with no. Sorry about the laptop speakers, everybody. All right, we've locked in no. Correct answer is no.
Yes.
No. Okay.
Yes, no help needed. All of my
Just Nemiga as well, or were there more?
Yeah, just 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think like we've obviously had head trick before, haven't we?
Yeah.
At a major in bait.
With that.
I mean, NPL as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, NPL with Navi.
Because bait would be the other one towards the tippy top of that list. Okay. Let's get into question number 2. So we're 1 from 1. That's the start we're looking for. In both HLTV and Valve's rankings, the lowest ranked team of the major is the Metizport, NRG, or OG.
It's got to be Metizport. And I'm like pretty confident on that one.
What do you got against Swedish Counter-Strike players?
Nothing against Swedish Counter-Strike, just Metizport rubbish.
Okay, well, it's hard to tussle with that. I also think it's hard to be, like, it's wild to think that they're lower ranked than a Mongolian team. But I'm going to lock it in because I not only believe you, I know it's true. But isn't that wild? Baby. Yeah, but that's crazy, right? And I saw somebody ask this question recently. They were like, it was actually in the Talking Counter Discord. Someone was like, "Are Valve going to patch the loophole where I could just as a millionaire in Croatia run a LAN and like prop up our teams?" And I was like, no, they'll wait till you as a millionaire exploit that loophole and then they might do something about it. So it is a wild time. There hasn't been too many problems. And anyway, I'm rambling. So that's 2 from 2. Dempz, you're killing it so far.
Come on.
Okay, let's get into question number 3. See, I love the celebration. We need activation. How many young Astralis cast-offs have made it to the major?
Oof.
1, 2, or 3?
Okay, so we definitely got Bro.
And you have Buzz.
Oh, yeah, Buzz.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, but now we're thinking beyond that. Are they going to be any in the next
Was
stage?
ever in Astralis at some point?
No, I don't think
Altix?
so.
Where's Altix?
Nah, Altex, he's donezo out here, bro.
Even Sashi? Or am I crazy?
I don't think he's even in Sashi, is he?
Okay.
I believe he
he's
got
not him.
kicked from Sashi, didn't he?
So we have 2. Could it be 3? Could we find a third one?
No, because surely it would have to be in the next stage. I don't think there's any in there.
Prison was Academy, wasn't he?
No, I don't think Prison was.
Okay.
I think it's 2. I'm just going to give myself a couple more seconds.
I can't
Yeah,
think
I'm
of
gonna go with
anybody,
two.
and it's
I'm going
hard
with
to
two.
even think of
I'm
names.
going with two. I'm going with two.
What about Magis?
Well,
Was he a...
Not a cast
No.
off.
Okay, all right, fine. I just wanted to check. All right, locking in 2. Correct answer is 2.
Come on!
Okay, they're both
I'm not
beats.
even getting the skins, and I'm pumped.
Well, that's it, right? You want to be excited for the viewer. It makes them more excited too. They realize their inventory value is going to skyrocket in about 15 to 20 years' time, just like Bitcoin. They're going to be millionaires.
I'm making someone a millionaire right now. 2 people a millionaire, in fact.
Yeah, well, look, let's get into
millionaires.
question number 4. Which of these rosters is the longest standing with 4 players being on the team for more than a year? Wildcard, Nemiga, or the Bet Boomers?
Okay, so it's definitely not Bet Boom. Definitely not Bet Boom, because Axon are booming to the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Wildcard or Nemiga? Oh my god, it could be Nemiga, couldn't it?
What's the last roster change?
When did Zwei join Nemiga? That's my only question on that.
He's only 17. It couldn't have been.
Yeah, so it has been recent. So is it Wildcard? I can't think of
What's the
Wildcard
last
making a
change?
change in forever.
I mean, they had the
Oh
Fuzi
wait,
thing,
Fuzi and
but
Susp actually.
That doesn't Fuzi doesn't count like this like Stewie 2K thing.
But it does say 4, right? Oh, no, it does say, 4 players
I think
being on the team
Nemiga.
for more than a year. Yeah,
I think Nemiga.
because the
Because
wild
Fuzi and
card...
Susp both joined Wildcard. I don't think it was a year ago yet.
All right, I'm going to lock in Nemiga.
I
Correct
think it's
answer
Nemiga.
is Nemiga. Beautiful.
Okay.
All right, so how long let me check out how long Fuzi and Susp have been on.
Because
I
they
think
were
it's
there
just
for the
under a year.
last major in Shanghai. So
They've only been there for 10 months.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Stan,
Well, it's
Sonic,
just
and
under a year.
Jaber or JBA have been there for 1.5 years. Okay,
Yeah.
well, there you go. So it's the Nemiga boys. All right.
Zwei is actually the
Venga
youngest, or like the whatever you call it. He joined 11 months ago, but everybody else is there like a year and a half plus.
I was going to say, yeah, I didn't think Nemiga had changes for a long time.
All right, this is to go 5 from 5. This is to complete the sweep. This is to get the fans, up in arms in the best possible way, celebrating in the streets like we've never seen before, maybe since 1999, because we were
deep
going
breaths.
into the Y2K, and the computers, they weren't going to be able to keep up. But look at us now, fucking robots. Let's go AI. All right, question number 5. How many American players will be playing in stage 1? 4, 6, 8, or 10? Oh, okay.
American has United
I don't
States.
think it's very
Ian.
many. Yeah, US or like
This is meant as USA, yeah.
Okay. NRG has 4, right?
no 3 is Hext. Hext
Oh,
is Canadian.
you're right. He's right. He is Canadian.
And then Complexity is 4,
Okay.
and then well,
Assuming Junior plays.
Oh, Jaber.
assuming Junior plays, and then Wildcard is 1. So how many is that? That's
8.
8.
That was 8. You counted 8.
I'm gonna hang on. There aren't any other teams.
No, I don't think so. Well, there's Brazilian teams.
And
Elige
European
is the-
teams, yeah.
Isn't
and
Elige the
Twists.
only other
Stage-
American?
Stage 1.
Yeah, but the stage
Yeah.
1.
Yeah,
the-
8. Let's
Okay,
go
8.
8.
Oh, this is for the sweep. This
All
is from
the
the 5 for
marbles.
5. Locking in number 8. Correct answer is 8.
Let's
okay. Yeah.
go.
Pretty fucking
Um,
impressive, to be honest. This was not easy at all.
Come on.
Worked with the
well,
gauntlet there.
You know, I've been doing a lot of major research over the past few days, so
Humble.
a lot of this I would not have known if you'd have asked me like a week ago.
Well, right now, Dempz, you've done it for the lucky viewers at home. You've won
All
it
for you guys.
For 2 viewers, one in the chat with the green logo and one in the chat with the purple logo. So we'll get Lucas to draw those. So on the green logo, it's Carlson RL, our first winner on that platform. On Twitch, it is Kung Fu T1, who's been following for 9 months. So congratulations to both of our lucky winners. Our people will reach out to your people. And Dempz, you get to take home, I think it's called Pride. So you're happy with your prize?
Oh, and also the winners can get in touch with me on Twitter for my cut. Thank you.
Okay. How much are you taking? What percentage?
Oh, I'll be generous. I'll take 20%. I'll be generous.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
That's
Any
probably
words,
as good as a
for
lot
the
of
people
agent
out there?
contracts.
For the fans, Dempz.
Any words?
Yeah.
Just think of me every time you use those skins. Think
That's
of my
great.
beautiful, think of my beautiful face.
I should have asked you how you're feeling, but we'll leave that one for the professionals. All right, let's get into my presentation. Okay, everybody. Now I want this to be a collective experience for the 4 of us. Now the presentation that I've constructed is to do with the major. And the major, just again, is starting tomorrow. Blast TV Austin. Now, as I go through each slide, Prof Striker Dempz, if there's anything that jumps off the page that you would like to turn into a discussion topic, let's do it. That's how we should really function with this. It shouldn't just be one man talking through 19 slides, right? We need a conversation to happen. So let's get into it. I need to stop being a boomer, and then I need to click this button, which will share my screen, and then I need to pick the share screen button. Oh wait, hold up, the slide's not in the right place. Okay, cool. And then we're going to share. Lucas, can we see it? Is it up on the screen, Lucas?
Not yet, but you can press slideshow, and then
I don't want to press slideshow because I left myself some notes, and I've realized I can't read my notes. But oh, really? Look at that! This is wonderful. Okay, so
trying to redeem himself for his prep failures.
Wait, hold up.
Okay.
But
I was going to say he leaked his email and he didn't.
That's all right. Lucky Lucas wasn't showing it to everybody. That email, the people don't know. I've got like a public email and I've got a private email. So we don't want that one to be out on the internet. All right, Lucas, there's the link. Can you see the slideshow? That's right. You can have a couple. It's one of those days. It's one of those. There's presenter view. Is there? Well, I'm sure there is. Thank you, people in Twitch chat, for helping out. Where's the presenter view button? I don't. Okay, you good?
It's like if you do whatever.
Okay, here we go. This is the title slide. Look at this one. I ripped off this from the Blast colors, right? Look at that. It's on brand. We got Beautiful. The logo, and I put a HLTV logo in the top corner because we're doing it on HLTV confirmed. That is the thought process that went into the title graphic. Any feedback?
Cool, I guess.
Keep it simple. Very nice.
Thanks, guys. That was the hardest thing I had to do when making this slide. All right, let's get into the first slide then, shall we, Lucas? Click her along. Wow, look at this. The headlines. So off the top, this is the first major in the US in 7 years. The last one was obviously Boston. It's the first major in Texas. It's Blast's second major. It's the first 32-team major. It's the culmination of the first VRS season, and then a few more team-related headlines. It's Vitality's 30-0 win streak. How long will it go? They're the favorites going into the major. Mouse, Falcon, Spirit that round out the competitive bunch. And then Magis, can he tie Dupree for the 5 major club? Because Dupree, he's not playing. He's on the analyst desk. So those are my headlines. Are there any headlines there that are conversation-worthy, or do you guys have any additional headlines?
I think that these are the main ones, to be honest. I think the only, I guess, maybe thing to mention is that unlike the last and the next major, there's no crowd for the group stage, which is like a small minus in my book, considering there is also like a huge interest for the tickets, and everything got sold out super fast for the playoffs. So probably could have, but I just get the idea that technically it was too much, not worth the hassle, essentially.
I think US is a cost factor, isn't it?
It's also, yes, very expensive. Like from our experiences, like getting HLT confirmed venues in the US and other places, there's just so many little things that they just add on. It's fucking crazy. The upsell is crazy in the US.
You can't plug in your own stuff in the US.
No, you need to call the person for the person, you know. So that's just like a little minus in my book. But other than that, yeah, all pretty cool.
Anybody else have anything from that list that they want to talk about?
How do people feel about the 32-team major format? Because obviously stage 1 is, there's a lot of guff teams in there.
Look, I look at this evolution as just another, and that's it, an evolution. That's what I look at this as, right? Because I know we have some bigots out there who go, it's not the major until you're in the top 16. You're only in the major if it's the top 16.
That's me. I'm the biggest
take.
Look, guys, if anything, you're just helping my stock because I played at 4 of those, so I'll take it. Like, we'll you're giving me more shine, a bit more rub. But I think that the thing is, the game is evolving, right? The formats evolve. We've gone from MR15 back to MR12, right? We used to have GSL. Now we have Swiss. We went from 16 teams to 24 teams. Then now we're at 30, what was it, 24 teams? It was. Now we're at 32 teams. And these expansions are happening for a reason, and they're always going to happen. Maybe not expanding. Maybe we go smaller in the future. Maybe the format changes. And look, in terms of the viewership that we're going to get in the first stage, I don't imagine it to be, going to break the world. But I think that what the offering this gives is a few. One of them being, I always talk about the way that Valve run their ship and how it helps the teams within the community to, make some money. So there'll be stickers, and we've seen all that stuff come out. So there'll be more teams either getting a smaller slice of the same pie, or we get a bigger pie. I don't know. We won't know until the pie's been baked, which tends to happen about 6 months after the major ends when they turn the stickers off.
I did see.
I'm excited for it.
I think Messi also had like his little podcast that he's doing for like all things complexity and sometimes other stuff and all that. He obviously didn't say any numbers, but he said they're not unhappy about how the sales are going at the moment. That he is expecting that each team will get a bit less, but because of the extra more teams, and technically you have to buy more capsules to get the team that you want, and all these things that might actually play into how much is sold. So it seems like at least the overall payout of that capsule is going to be even better than last one, which was pretty bad, so like it's probably pretty okay.
I think also with the way that we now qualify for the major, right? Like this is essentially, a lot of people will look at this as replacing the RMR. For me, this is more like, Striker referenced it earlier, it's like a major qualifier. This is something that's similar that I played in back in Katowice to qualify for Cologne and stuff. But this is where the opening stage is where the regional diversity is at its peak, right? Not in the sense of, right? Like you have teams that you can barrack for that are quite nationally based. So we can get into that later. But yeah, I just look at this and I don't hate it. I'm happy to go with the evolution. The thing is, I'm like, the only thing that people might bitch and moan about is like the stats database, but you guys do that for continuity reasons, obviously, over the course of all those things. And we talk about it every time. And it is a different stage of the event. This is the first time this is happening. So, and we know it's weaker teams. That's not even in the mix. So
yeah, I mean, ultimately, we also kind of have to accept that it is called the major. It is called like the first stage of the major and all that stuff. Like, as much as it's not always going to track. But historically, records in sports and all that stuff also go like, despite the format changes and all these things, So like, ultimately, we have to consider whoever's playing stage one as rookies, for example, because like what choice do we have even? Yeah, they're not like top 16 rookies. We can have like some different things to call these guys, but ultimately, we just kind of have to accept the situation too.
I think it's worked out pretty well in the first VRS season too. We'll do a post-mortem of that once the major ends and we have some more time in the break to go through that. But I think things have worked out pretty well. Okay, let's jump into the next slide, shall we, Lucas? Now, this one took me the longest. So this one here is representing for everybody playing at home. At the top is the event. Below that is who came first. Below that is who was the runner-up, and then the MVP of said event. So you're going from top to bottom, essentially. And I've taken the trophies from the HLTV profile pages, which are the actual trophies. The only one which I guess they haven't uploaded yet is the Dallas trophy. It's just a ESL logo. So we started the year with Bounty. Spirit won that. Eternal Fire with the runner-up. Donk was the MVP. Went into Katowice. We had Vitality win. Spirit was the runner-up. Zywa was the MVP. We're going to be saying that a lot. Then we went into Cluj. Mal's on debut with Spinks. They took down Falcons in the final. Nico got the MVP. We went to EPL. Vitality won that. It was back-to-back. It was EPL into Lisbon. So Vitality won both of those. Mal's were runners-up in both, and Zywa was the MVP in both again. Then we had Bucharest. Falcons won against G2. It was a bit of a damp squib of a final because we already knew that Monacy was going at that point, and Dexter got the MVP. Then we went down under to Melbourne. That's where Vitality won the Grand Slam at Melbourne, and they took down Falcons where they probably should have lost. Zywa MVP again. Then we went to Rivals, so back across the world to Copenhagen. Vitality win. Falcons runners up. Zywa MVP. Then we had Astana. Astana was Spirit winning, which felt mandatory. Astralis, runners up. Donk MVP. And then to round things out before we find ourselves on the precipice of the major, it was Dallas. Vitality win. Mal's runners up. Zywa MVP. So we've had 10 tier 1 events, 4 different winners. Vitality have won 6, Spirit have won 2, Mal's have won 1, and Falcons have won 1. So that's the takeaway. Dempz, when you look at this, what are the outliers? What shouldn't be?
I mean, it's just unbelievable. Vitality can't stop winning.
Okay,
That's
I thought you were going to say Astralis and G2.
Oh, now I guess they are the outliers, but I can't even remember that tournament with G2 coming second. I've erased it from my memory.
Yeah.
Everybody's
raised the final from their memories.
It was shit.
I could say that.
It was dog. Yeah, it was dog.
It was pretty bad.
A reason
there
for
were
that,
certain comments thrown Modessy's way for that all that stuff. That's what I remember.
Yeah, it was It was a curious time because of the change for Falcons. But this is the recap of the season overall. That's the point of this graphic.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see that 85% of it is just the top four teams, which have kind of crystallized as the top four teams in a way that I don't think we had in a long time, or if ever. And that being Vitality, Mouse, Falcons, and Spirit. These four teams they just have such a clear definition between them and the rest right now. And you can see obviously Eternal Fire got a final, Astralis got a final, G2 got a final. I think especially for the last two, it feels more like as an outlier than anything else. And then Eternal Fire and Mongols being teams they probably should have made a deeper run or two than they did, but they are where they are for a reason, right? So I think it's we're setting up for a major that we have four clear favorites for the title. Obviously, Vitality is ahead of everyone, but if anyone outside of these four wins, it will be a huge surprise.
I think that's what dominates the conversation going into Austin. So I'm not sure if there's an issue with this. It might be tough logistically for Lucas. I was thinking this would be a good time for us to pivot into our what are the odds. Just because the rest of the conversation is going to be focused about, we got some venue stuff in there. There'll be a lot of focus around the stage 1 and stage 2 teams because there's no break, but there's a calendar coming up soon, guys, to give you all the info. So right now, Lucas, if it's okay, let's pivot into what are the odds, now presented by Stake. Now, Prof, I need you to help me here. Is there any change in how we're rolling with this segment, or is it the same?
For the segment, not a big change. I guess the biggest change is what happens after, because obviously before we had a running kind of giveaway prize pool kitty, as you like to describe it, going on with fans voting and stuff, which we will let it run out for the rest of the season, and we do the giveaway. But moving on from now on, we will be still doing our odds, kind of putting together some ideas for lines as they are, right? So this one that we have today is, will Vitality reach the Austin Major final without breaking their win streak? So best of ones, best of three is all the way to the final without a loss. And what's going to happen after that is that on Stake, they will take this and make it an actual, a bet that you can put on. So if people are interested, they can go over there. There's going to be a link in the description or somewhere where you can go directly to that page where it's going to be found, because it's not going to be under Counter-Strike. It's going to be in the specials, where there's also a bet about will Taylor Swift get married. So if you're into that stuff, you can go
Very
there
exotic.
and have fun.
Okay.
Yeah, the exotic bets.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting.
And just to add on to that, then everyone that places a bet and wins will go into. They need to also go through some terms and conditions, but there'll be a lucky winner raffle. So essentially, if you bet, you win. You might win an extra on the next episode. That's kind of how it's going to work.
Okay, so is this every time we do this?
Every time.
Be every episode.
Every time.
All right. Well, there you go. We're giving away more things. We like giving away things around here. Okay, so again, to reiterate, what are the odds brought to you by Stake? Vitality reached the Austin Major final without breaking their win streak. So Prof highlighted the difficulties of that right there. Striker, I'm going to leave you to the end because you're extremely systematic. Dempz, how would you describe yourself? Are you a vibes guy or are you a maths guy?
I like to do a little bit of both, Best of both worlds. Variety is the spice of life. The vibes with Vitality, I think, are trending a little bit more towards they're going to lose sooner rather than later. I feel like the strain of keeping up such a dominant win streak is starting to tell, I think, for them. They seem to be getting a little bit more tired almost. Some of these longer series where they're pushed a little harder, it does feel like there are cracks there, not necessarily because they're any worse of a team or because other teams are particularly catching up. I think, like I say, it's just so exhausting to maintain this kind of streak, and with everybody chasing you down and with good teams now chasing them down. I think Falcons definitely have the chops to beat Vitality in one of these series, but obviously the stats probably say there's not much of a chance of them slowing down.
Okay.
So what's your percentage? What are the chances?
I would honestly stick it at like 50-50.
Okay.
That's where my heart is taking me.
And that's fine. I think that's a fair middle of the road answer. You think with the best of ones in the mix as well, there's a bit more volatility there. So that these are going to be the best of ones added to their streak striker. We'll see how the pundits deal with that in the community, because now they won't be able to run with their best of 3, best of 5 narrative anymore. The things are going to have to change out there. So Dempz is giving it 50%, please, Lucas. Prof, I'll handball this one over to you.
Yeah,
because you are the resident vibes guy. Where do you land on this?
I think one of the tricky things is the best of ones. I think for sure it's a thing that could go wrong, because we saw them, drop maps and come back in series and play super close. And also the way the matchups are going to look, right? They're going to be seed 1 and you play seed 9. I'm not sure, Striker, do you know if let's say Falcons are the best team in stage 2?
Yep.
Would they be seed 9, or does it get reseeded?
Yes.
Or could they be even higher than seed 9?
No, they're going to be like the 1 through 8 in the stage stays based on who got invited, and then 9 through 16 is by
not unlikely,
whatever the standings of the previous.
Not unlikely, for example, that they would get Falcons in their
very
first
possible.
game.
Yeah, very true.
Very possible.
So because of that, and then they have another best of 1 to play, which is on the same day. Not a lot of preparation and everything, might get like a completely random team they never played. I'm gonna put it like 38%.
Damn. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know where people were going to land on this one, but there's a lot of things to think about too. And one of the factors is if you're coming in one of the later stages, you're not warmed up to the setup and stuff. So that also can hit you. You're coming in very cold, where other teams that have played in because it's the same setup all the way until we get to the playoffs, and then we change to the arena. So we got 38 from Prof. We got 50 from Dempz. Micah, I want to come to you now. You said you're not going to be scientific. You don't have your Bunsen burner and your beakers out. So what do you got for us?
I opened up a calculator on the side, and I was just like looking through what the like, let's say, so you have individual match odds, right? And even if you put the match odds, it's okay. Again, from the beginning, Vitality have to win. So 2 best of 1s, 1 best of 3, and then 2 more best of 3s in the playoffs to do what you said, like without losing. They have to win 5 matches in a row without losing for them to do what you said. 2 of those have to be best of 1s. And even if you put their odds in the best of 1s at like 80%, and then the rest like 66%, let's say they have a 2 out of 3 chance to beat anybody, let's say, and that's probably generous in certain cases, you still end up with something like 20% chance, so I'll just put it at that.
So he did end up being scientific after all. He said he wasn't going to be, and then he was.
Yeah, but he's doing all this maths. What were the odds of them getting this far? Like, if you used your same logic, went back and applied it to how far they've gotten.
That's like, obviously now we restart, right? But yeah, it is miraculous, but that's even more reason why they shouldn't continue.
Okay.
Nah, it's the reason why the vibes tell you they got to keep going.
See, I think you've all gone soft. Like, I think, Dempz, you got middle of the road. You're the closest to any positivity that I'm seeing today. And I thought it was a beautiful Monday. I couldn't wait to get my media day underway. And that's why I'm going to drop the bombshell at 99%. Let's not stop this win streak. Let's make history. Let's have an undefeated major run. Let's have Vitality throw in their hat in the ring to be in conversations against Astralis until the end of time. Let's have this roster led by Apex. He's got some fucking energy, and so should you. Let's fucking go, Vitality. I'm happy to witness history. This ain't boring to me. They're going to keep holding you at arm's length. They're going to keep being down 12-6 and bringing the game back. I'm fucking on board of the Vitality major victory. And I don't use this word often when I'm talking about competition, because competition is earned. But if anybody deserves to win the major, it's Vitality with the season that they've had. So I'm on board. I'm full Vitality pilled right now. I'll be wearing the jersey while I'm casting. I'm fucking in. I'm all in. Let's go.
Let's see
there we go. Look, we've got people excited.
A pretty 50-50. Yeah, this is pretty good.
Who would have thought? Yeah, no?
It's pretty good.
Who would have thought? Okay, so there you go. Well, you guys get to have your say on the social medias. As Prof discussed, we're going to be changing the way this functions in the future. So that's exciting. But that is What Are the Odds, brought to you by Stake, new sponsor of the show. Cool. Let's get back into the PowerPoint, shall we? Oh, look at that from Lucas. He's straight back in. He's such a great producer.
Smooth.
Now, hit the next slide, if you would, Lucas. So this is just some information of note that I think that people need to be aware of going into the major. So Junior is standing in for Halzerk at Complexity. There's a visa-related issue. Now, if people are a little bit uncertain about this, it's because Halzerk... Now, I'm going to explain this poorly. You should go listen to any of the content that Messioso does around Complexity. But essentially, Halzerk works for an American company, which is different from like someone who's in a South American org, for instance. I don't know why I would say that, trying to get a visa to go into America to do something, right? Halzerk is actually an employee of a North American company. So he needs to have a different visa, which can be a little bit sticky and trickier, I would imagine. Especially, you also need to think that Complexity are no longer part of the Dallas Cowboys, right? So in terms of their backing and maybe influence to push things through, maybe it's a little bit less there too. So Junior will be standing in for Halzerk at Complexity. That's something everyone needs to keep in mind. Simple standing in for FaZe. Everyone knows that. It's very exciting. Soren Sampaius confirmed from Heroic to G2 after the major. That news had to come out. So that maybe that puts a dampener on Heroic stocks, but we'll get into that soon. Hades is standing in for G2. Legacy are the replacement for Bestia. That was the massive visa-related issues. I don't know how I got lumped in with all of the Argentinian hate prof after the last episode. I was like, nah, man, I think they should be able to play. Like, it's unfortunate. I think, but I really still think, and I think we should like adjust the deadline and it should be a little bit more lax. And I get lumped in. I'm like, mate, what do they want me to say?
Either for them or against them. But you're kind of for them, but not good enough.
Not loud enough.
Not enough for them.
Okay. Well, next time I'll be more for them. Yakinda is standing in for Furia, and Shui is on loan to Liquid. So have I missed anything? Is there any other little trap cards that are going on?
Well,
no.
Look, publicly, probably yes, but we can assume that a lot of those players, very many of those players are at the very least in a lot of talks at the moment. We could just say that.
Give me three. Give me three players.
Jesus Christ, just take your fucking pick, probably,
FaZe,
honestly.
G2, like Na'Vi, like we can just list them properly.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think G2 ends there. Like with what we just heard, for example, Na'Vi are probably looking. Liquid, who knows if they're going to stay that way. Again, take your pick. Falcons doesn't really matter considering it's not really a player that's coming from another major team, but still.
So essentially, what's happening right now is Strike is giving you all what tastes like a negative framing, but let me turn it into a positive one. This season is the first one that has the VRS then culminating in the major being the last one, right? So we've ramped into this, right? And this is meant to be the top of the mountain. Now that we're at the top of the mountain, well, as we were climbing the mountain, other teams realized they were never going to catch up to Vitality. So they had choices, right? They were like, well, do we fucking throw a couple of these guys down the mountain and try and get some new climbers and see if we can catch them? Or do we just keep on going? Navi's going for let's keep on going. Maybe we'll have a late surge of energy. Whereas teams like FaZe have gone, we need to risk, right? They've flown in Simple on a helicopter on the side of the mountain. He's got some oxygen. He's helping him up, right? So a lot of these teams, I think the sad side of this is, there's going to be roster changes after the major. There's always roster changes in the off season. And these teams that we're talking about were never really in contention to win the major anyway, right? We only have 4 teams who are really in the conversation, 6 if we think that the likes of Aurora and Mongols can get over their stage fright problems. So yeah, the teams who have made roster changes have done so because they're not as good as the top of the competition right now. That's why they made changes. So, or are going to make changes. So I kind of don't mind it. And for these teams who did make the changes, they feel it's their best opportunity to be competitive at the major, which is what I'd prefer to see than them going in and not making changes.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was Furia with...
I think we're also seeing that it doesn't really matter that much anymore. We're not in 2015 when if someone was getting cut, they would just not give. They're just not give a fuck about the tournament, right? So I think we saw it with Dexter. I mean, in Falcons even being better realistically than he ever was. We saw it, and Saw and Sampaius now going to G2. I don't think that's going to make a big difference. And I don't know. Just even like Falcons overall this year is now Tessus Magic. Someone is probably their seat is on fire. Last report was Magic. Who knows if that's going to change or not? I don't think it will make them super not motivated to play the game. It might add something.
You want to win the major. Yeah.
Yeah, it might put some pressure. Some people might thrive under that pressure. Other might, fall under that pressure. But it's just a part of like how the player deals with it. I don't think it means like, now the tournament is not worth watching because there's going to be some changes. Like as we all said, there's constantly talks about changes. I think it does put a dampener if like things are completely broken and it doesn't work and the team doesn't make any sense and they're just like playing out the season. But otherwise, it's kind of whatever.
What do you think, Dempz, of the ability now to assess mid-season and make a change before the roster locks to give your already failing project a better chance? Do you like that, or what do you feel about that?
I just thought, like, wasn't the point or part of the point or part of why everybody wanted to see the majors at the end of the season so that we didn't have so many weird dead teams who were about to make a change, like playing out the major? I thought that was like part of some of the logic or part of some of the appeal of putting the majors at the end of the season was it's like everyone has a season, get their shit in order, peak at the right time, and here we go, bang, major. And yet it doesn't really feel like that's what's happening.
I think it was more like people would change during all the remaining tournaments in the season. I think that was the thing, and it would just lead to like a bunch of tournaments that are like no one's really.
That's why 100% Dallas there would always be shit.
Yeah, but yeah, it's still kind of going on. It's not ideal,
but it's inevitable, don't you think? Right, like roster changes are inevitable unless you're the teams who are winning, right? The ones at the top, because if you're not, you want to win. So you're going to make changes if you're an ambitious org. Like, that's always going to happen. There's always going to be changes. That's kind of just the nature of the beast, right? You're dealing with only 5 players in a team, and a lot of that comes down to like a social balance. And those are that is the thing that's impossible to quantify before you put those 5 players together, because you don't know how they're going to react off of each other. So, like the way that I'm trying to frame it is in the sense that, yeah, sure, there are some teams who we know are going to be making after, but they've been able to put themselves in what they consider a better position to be competitive. Like Furious change is so drastic because of what that does to Furia in the region, and now they go international and they think this is their best option to be competitive at the major, and they had a kind of okay result over there in Astana. So there's some things that I think are probably positive to take away. And there's obviously a few kinks which will hopefully get ironed out in the future. But like the ramping in, it kept all of these events interesting, because when Astana was on, it's like, all right, well, we get to see Furia debut their international team. So are they going to be good, or are they going to be just as shit, right? Like, so we had a few. Can Na'Vi salvage their season late? Can they have a good Astana result before the major to restore some hope? There was kind of some things in there that helped the narrative, at least from my perspective. Okay. Let's jump to the next slide, please, Lucas. I keep going to change it and I realize I can't. Okay. This one is a simple one. This is nothing crazy. So obviously they've got the stickers, the pick'ems, but this time it's the Souvenir highlights. What's everyone's opinion on that? When you saw Valve announce that, obviously the way that I understand it, and I could be wrong, was it's going to have charms, and then there'll be like a highlight from the match that you maybe get when you claim the souvenir from a playoff game. It's essentially this is NFTs, guys. That's what this is.
Yeah, I mean, it's slightly confusing, but I guess when we get it, we'll understand a bit better. But overall, I think it's really good because it gives something to the playoff teams, essentially the teams that are really good, getting something extra, which I presume will go into their pockets and not in the pockets of all the 32 teams. So only the top 8 would get something, and then you also have the champion one, which gives something to the champions, which I think is like how we should incentivize teams that are good by giving them more of the pie or creating a new pie for them. So I think that's fine. I don't really care. I'm not gonna buy a single one, but for those that enjoy it, like, yeah, nice.
Okay, so you like it because people get more money.
Yeah, I love money is good.
Okay. Any other strong thoughts, gentlemen, or not really? This is just a get it out of the way housekeeping slide.
I just like that they finally moved away from just the kind of classic boring kind of stickers that like everybody already has one of those from the last, whatever it is, 4 majors that they've been more or less the same, so they weren't really interesting. So they needed to change in some way, for people to be, to maybe, want to buy them again or whatever. If it's going to be enough, if it's actually going to increase the payout, who knows? But it was going down pretty drastically over the past few majors, so it's nice to see something new and a little bit of life again breathed into the in-game items.
Why don't we have team charms?
Yeah, that's a good
Like,
question.
I feel weird that we've got this weird ass souvenir highlight thing, which, like, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm down for it, but it does seem a bit weird, a bit bizarre. Like, how exactly is it going to work? When am I going to be watching this highlight that's attached to the end of my gun? But at the same time, it's like,
Mid-game while holding an
why
angle.
can I not just stick a phase fucking charm on my gun?
It is interesting. I've always wondered about I don't know if it's reluctance, but they're obviously holding on to bringing teams in. Like, people are like, why don't we have like team gloves or this or that? And it's an interesting conversation. I guess I don't know. I don't know the Valve logic on the way that they're doing these things and keeping it this lockdown. But we only look at things from the esports perspective, so they're looking at it from the whole game. And I don't know. Here's the way I would do it if I was Valve: is less is, or not less is more. But if people are going to keep buying and you're only putting out a little bit, just keep putting out a little bit, right? Like, people are still spending money, right? They're still making records amount of money and people are still gobbling it up. So whatever they're doing, people are enjoying to some degree. Otherwise, they wouldn't be spending their cash. So I think that maybe team charms end up on these souvenirs, or is it the dog tags is going to be the charm? Were they clear on that?
No,
Not
but
it's got-
right?
it's kind of implied, right? It's going to be like Donk's name here, and
Okay.
maybe like the game that they play, like who he played against the round or whatever, something like this.
Yeah. Well, could be cool. All right. Let's quickly run an ad break, Lucas, and then we'll come back and we'll keep going with the slides because we're an hour in. We'll be right back, everybody.
Sell in-game items at the best prices in just a couple of clicks. We are the biggest instant sell service for in-game items like Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, and Rust. Easy selling process and instant withdrawal of funds to the most popular payment methods. More than 140,000 deals and 50,000 active sellers every month. Use promo code HLTV5 and get a 5% bonus on the sale of your skins. Skin Place. Sell items now.
When every move counts, your chair shouldn't hold you back. Top esports players are switching to Anthros for unbeatable support and performance that keeps them in the game longer. Designed to support your unique shape and built with medical-grade components, Anthros is setting a new standard for comfort. Check out the Anthros difference today and get ready to fix your sit, because gaming deserves more than just a chair.
Stake is now sponsoring HLTV Confirmed, the longest running Counter-Strike podcast. And thanks to them, you have the chance to win a prize every single episode. Just leave a comment on YouTube with your Stake username, and the highest voted comment will be awarded a $100 prize. Check out the link for more details.
All right. Thank you very much for sticking with us through the ad break. And thank you very much to our sponsors. That's Anthros, Skin Place, and our new sponsor, Stake. Okay, let's keep the slide rolling. We can move away from the skins. We probably should have a skins guy on here to talk about that. So let's jump into the next one. Okay, so in case you guys are unawares, it'll be going down in the Moody Center. The rest of the event, which is stage 1, 2, and 3, are all going to be going on in the hotel, and I'll give you the name of the hotel now. No, I won't, but you'll find out because players will post images of the hotel online because they love doing that. Okay, so the final will be taking place in the Moody Center. If you're not aware, the Moody Center, it is an arena on the Texas University campus, I'm pretty sure. That's what I'd read. And does music and basketball and all that type of stuff there. So this is the third CS2 major. It's the 22nd Counter-Strike major overall. It's hosted by Blast, the Moody Center. This is the first North American major since 2018 and features 32 teams competing for $1.25 million. There you go. The configuration is not 360. I think it's going to be a classic Blast one. People can find that when they go and look at tickets and whatnot. It doesn't look like a 360 setup as far as I'm aware. But yeah, go to the Moody Center. Hopefully it's a moody atmosphere. Next slide, please, Lucas. Okay, so the next slide, I have built a calendar so everyone can understand what's happening. So this is June. Now, I don't know how many of you in Twitch chat or the other chat have ever used a real calendar before. If you've used a real calendar, type 1.
This is not a real calendar since it starts on a Sunday, so you're already failed.
No, calendars can have flexibility here, Prof. Okay, so that's someone said it looks small. I think the capacity. I think it's only like 10,000. Only, I think it's 10,000 people. So Yeah.
The
I don't
actual
know
capacity, or
the actual capacity is bigger, but I think with the configuration, I think it's about 10,000.
that's what I mean. Yeah.
I think better to have smaller capacity and fill it out.
Yeah, I
Straight out
agree. I definitely agree. Especially when you have a Thursday day, right? Because it's going to be hard to get 10,000 people there even on a Thursday, but it's a major, so we can see that happen. Okay, so this calendar, as you can all see, stage 1 kicks off tomorrow. So it's going to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for stage 1. That's going to get 8 teams ready for stage 2. Now, there's no break day. So we'll go straight from stage 1 into stage 2, which means Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we'll continue stage 2. Now, I like the way this is kind of lined up, and obviously this is intentional from Blast because it means their stage 3 starts on Thursday, goes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's where you're going to have all the big names and all the best teams. So it's your second weekend from now, especially all over the world when you can watch. You're going to have people who have more free time, in theory, to be able to tune in, and those are going to be some of the bigger, more exciting matches because of the namesake. Then once we go into playoff week, Monday, Tuesday, there's probably media days and stuff in there for the players. We're going to be doing HLTV Confirmed live from Austin on the 18th, which will be Wednesday. I believe it's, what is it, Prof, 9 to 11? Or is it 7 to 9?
7 to 9.
7 to 9 p.m. Now there's a slide for that later. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that is going to be the culmination. So we're going to have the quarterfinals on Thursday and Friday. So that'll see Saturday and Sunday, Saturday being the semi, Sunday being the grand final. As far as I'm aware, there's a show match. I don't have any details on that I can give you. And
Who's
then
playing the show match?
Sorry?
Who's playing the show match?
I have no idea. I just know there's a show match. And then there's a tournament break as soon as that comes to its conclusion, and the players get a month, quote unquote, off, or a month without any tournaments. So there you go. What do we think about the way that Valve have staggered this? No off day, gentlemen, between stage 1 and stage 2. Anyone with raised eyebrows?
Not particularly. I mean, most of the teams on like WATO will have 3 teams playing on like the back-to-back, like 3 teams that will not have any off day, right? Which is the teams that go into the last round. So it's like, it's not such a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
good schedule. Classic.
Fair enough.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, they can choose, right? Like, I guess they could have started today and done media yesterday, and they could have gone 4 days and had a break, and then 4 days and had a break, and right? I just thought it was.
I guess they could have, but I don't know.
Okay, no one interested about the schedule.
No, doesn't really do much
It's-
for me. Maybe for you, Chad, who are there, you want to take a day, go out and
No,
do
I'm a-
square dancing or something?
I'm just gonna sit in my room. So there's probably
No
Yeah.
square dancing for you.
no.
Is that you're 100% confirming this?
I'm too hip to be square, Prof. Okay, let's get into the next slide, shall we, Lucas? Okay, so this is the tournament format. If people aren't aware, it is opening games of best of ones, right? It's going to be best of ones until you're either on the point of progression to the next stage or elimination. Now, you can see here we have stage 1 into stage 2 into stage 3 into playoffs. Isn't that crazy? But we're going to take 8 teams from stage 1. They're going to join the 8 teams already in stage 2. 8 teams will then qualify from stage 2. They will go into stage 3 to join the 8 teams waiting there. And then we will take the final 8, and they will go into a standard single elimination best of 3 bracket. I said that there is no best of 5 final. There's no best of 5 final.
You want to hear something fun, like a funny concept? Imagine Heroic going 3-0 in all 3 stages, and then losing the first game, finishing the major with a 9-1 score and top 8. That'd be
Who?
kind of funny.
Did you say
Let's
Heroic?
Let's just
Okay.
say they go 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, and then get like, I don't know, fucking Vitality or something. Falcons lose in the quarterfinals, and the tournament 9 wins, 1 loss, top 8.
It is a funny stat line when you put it that way. And I never really thought about it. I think it's more just like, yeah, that'd be funny. But it's not like, it's just
Not
the
a
way it
problem.
goes.
No,
No,
at some point you have to reach the single elimination stage, right? Like at some point they have to get eliminated.
Yeah. But obviously it's just like it's so staggered with like multiple opportunities early on. And then at some point it just goes like, actually just one game now. It just doesn't make that much sense to me. It just still
What do you
doesn't
mean?
It doesn't make sense to have 3 Swiss stages in a row. It just
We do
doesn't make
3
sense.
rounds of sifting for gold where we know where the gold is. We already know where the gold is. Like, let me pick 4 teams.
maybe
I'll
that
put
is
them in
the
the
problem.
playoff right now. I'll put 4 teams in the playoffs right now without any question. And nobody
And
can even argue it. They don't even have to qualify for it. They're already the best 4 teams. I'll just fucking put them in the bracket.
Yeah, but
One
now
at
we
the
can
top,
see
Vitality. Yeah.
Now you can kind of see the issue of like setting it so far in advance and that it is staggered because why are Falcons in stage 2?
Yes.
You know, when they are very clearly, absolutely, without a doubt, a top 4 team at the moment. Like nobody can argue that.
No, that's fair. Yeah. Look, I'm Dempz, are you laughing at Prof's 9-1? Or is there something else about the format that might be more interesting than Prof talking about Heroic going 9-1?
I'm laughing at the idea Heroic can go 3-0 in all 3 stages. Like, they're the best team in stage 1. Fair play to them. But like, yeah, your scenario that you've picked out there is like 0.00001% that it would ever happen.
Let's just clip this, guys. Clip it. The thing is, I didn't even put them to go 3-0 in the first stage. So you know what am I talking about?
Not that I'm not a Heroic enjoyer. You know, they're good. They're a good team, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's fly through the next couple of slides here. These are just this quick and easy. I can just read through these. So in stage 3, this is to Striker's point, but the teams based off of the VRS ranking when it was taken, which was back in, it was May, right?
April.
Losing my months. That's right, because we were talking about the deadline for the cutoff for the major. It was April 12? Was it 12?
No, 7th or something.
7.
I think.
7 or 12. They're numbers. We love them. Okay, 8 teams. There's more. Vitality, Mouse, Spirit, Mongols, Aurora, Na'Vi, G2, Liquid. So 3 of those teams, or 2 of them at least, should be shunted down, or at least 1, and Falcon should be here. But based off of when this early draw came in, this is why stage 3 looks like this. Let's jump into stage 2. Lucas, next slide, please. Falcons phase, 3D Max, Virtus Pro, Furia, MIBR, Pain, and M80. So even some questionable names in there. And then let's jump into stage 1 that has the 16 teams. That's going to give us... Sorry, next slide, please. There we go. Complexity, Heroic, FlyQuest, Bait, Wildcard, TYLOO, Legacy, Controversial, Wow, Lin Vision, BetBoom, NRG, Chinggis Warriors, OG, Imperial, Nemiga, Fluxo, and Metizport. And then we can jump into the next slide, please. We're going to do the pick'ems. Don't you guys worry about that. Okay, here's some things that I took from the rulebook that I thought were of note, just some things that people should keep in mind when viewing the major. We have the seeding rules. So you can see those, right? So as Prof brought up earlier, it's 1 versus 9. Do you guys think we still should do the 1 versus 9 if we had good seeding? Or do you think because the seeding was done months ago that...
I mean, it's not about
that. That's not the purpose.
It's to avoid the 1 versus 9 matchup in the final round, as an example, right? Like we get the better teams to play each other early.
7v8 or something, yeah.
It would be 7 versus 8 in the last game, technically. If like all the favorites won and you started 1v16, the last game would be 7 versus 8 and 9 versus 10, which is... So then, you know, the 7-8 best teams couldn't technically like advance, even though it's kind of it's more a theory than a, you know, practical thing because you never get all the favorites
results
winning.
Are all over the place.
But generally this gives, you know, you get more of the better teams playing early, so then they can't play in the latter games. And considering some of them are like early games of best of 1, I think it just generally works out better this way, in my experience.
Okay. So that's why it's 1 versus 9, 2 versus 10, et cetera, all the way down to 8 versus 16. In terms of the seeding, right, as we go from stage to stage, the placement of which you come out of your group, so if you 3-0, if you 3-1, right, is going to inform your seeding going forward. And then we've got mid-stage seeding. So they're still using buckholes or bookholes, or however you want to pronounce it. I'm not going to judge. So that's how we're going to be able to, this is the difficulty score, right? That's how you're going to see the teams getting reseeded between each round of games, if you're new to Swiss. And overtime, 10K. Am I the only one who's unhappy with this? Is anybody else up in arms about it?
I mean, I think it's kind of silly, to be honest. Yeah, it is silly.
Don't all, well, at least Blast and ESL run 12.5. I don't know what PGL do.
I'm pretty sure they run it as well.
12.5?
It just,
I can give it a quick check.
It's kind of the same as the best of 5 final. Like if everyone's running it, then what's the point? Why are we not doing it?
I think we could do that for Fix Your Sit. I think we can do that format talk for that, unless you got something.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, well, I think we can do that then. Because
or we could talk about the talent selection if you want. Maybe that's better.
What, for Fix Your Sit? How would you fix it, Prof?
Yeah, I need to just put me in charge of everything.
Okay.
I think that's the best way.
Put it at the tippy top of the totem pole. Okay, so those were some rules of note. Now there's plenty more. You can go and find the rulebook on Blast's website, so you can check that out. Next slide, please, Luke. It is for PGL?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Well, it needs to be 12.5 for everybody. Okay. Hold up a second. Let's see.
We can go to pick'ems from here, I feel like.
Yeah. I was going to say let's actually jump into pick'ems now because this is what everybody's excited about the most. Now, how are we going to do this, Lucas? Should I do this on HLTV? Should I can't really open Counter-Strike. My
HLTV is the easiest, I think. Yeah, it's just a browser.
Okay. I can share my
superior
screen,
place to do your pick'ems.
Unless Lucas wants to.
I was recording the video. Maybe some people saw it about the pick'ems vibes versus stats, and I had to update my CS, and it literally took me 2 days because my drive was full for some reason. It was such a great experience. I loved it. So yeah, I think using the website, best option. And you know what the best part is? I'm pretty sure they didn't even use my capture from my thing. They did it like again on their own. So I used a whole day trying to update this for nothing.
Wrecked.
Third world problems, man.
But you did put some.
It's not my internet. My internet is very fast, actually. I mean, not the one that doesn't work right now because I have no electricity, for example.
Can everyone see this?
Yeah, it was just limited from the hard drive side.
Lucas, is this good? I hope it's good.
But hey.
We'll see what he says. He's not saying anything, so that must mean it's good. Okay, we're going to jump into the pick'ems now, gentlemen. Now, I think that there's a couple of ways that we could do this. What I wanted, because I'm sure, has everybody here done their own?
I haven't. This is my.
You're the only one who hasn't. Okay.
Not.
So why don't we do this? Striker, why don't you build yours? And then what we'll do is, Dempz, Prof, and myself. Dempz, have you made one? You done yours?
Yeah, I haven't done them in game, but I've done them on HLTV so that I know what I'm doing.
So let's do this. We'll get Striker to go through his right now, and then we will see what we have different or what we would challenge of Strikers, and then we can go from there because it'll give us, a little bit something to talk about with it as opposed to us trying to collectively come through. So, Striker, where would you like to start? You get to lead the conversation. I'll move the pieces. You tell me what you're working with.
All right, I'll go with Heroic 3-0. I'll go by my kind of power ranking that we did for our little visualization because I think that's the best way to go about it, honestly. I'm not going to go by the original, like the first. For some reason it's not working, or?
I can't drag it. Why can't I drag it? Is it meant to be dragged? Is that, am I doing it?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Oh shit, I'm not logged in. All right,
that's probably going to be it.
Password 1, 2, 3.
Hold up. Lucas, thank you. All right,
leak that shit. Leak it.
We leaked it.
I made a new password, so
I just realized in my power ranking, because I did it a while ago, and I thought Halzark maybe will still play. I put complexity pretty far up, but I'm not going to pick them 3-0.
All right, I'm logged in now. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, technical issue. Okay, Heroic. Is anyone challenging Heroic? I have Heroic 3-0 in mind.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I mean they're the obvious pick, which means probably won't happen, but there's no one else logically to put in.
You have to go with Heroic. There's by logic, they're so far and above everyone else with complexity not having Halzark.
Yeah. Their opening game, just for everybody playing at home, is against Chinggis Warriors. So look, unless they get mega nervous for some reason in their opening game, come in really, really cold, I think, or take Chinggis Warriors for granted and don't prep properly, I don't think Heroic should be losing that game whatsoever. So I think it's a safe pick for a 3-0. I'm
struggling with the second 3-0 because, if it was full complexity, I think it's, again, obvious. Those two teams would have been so far above. Even I would have put them above a lot of the stage 2 teams. Because of their recent results, they've kind of improved. Complexity just barely missed out just before they made the top 4 run in Bucharest or whatever it was and all that stuff. They just look so much better. But without Halzark and with Junior, who's just not a 1-to-1 replacement, he's not as good. Realistically, I just don't think that they're going to go. I think they could still go through, but I don't think they're going to go 3-0.
Halzark was top 5 opper statistically. If you just look at pure stats, obviously a lot of less maps and everything, but just pure numbers has been, him and Grim have been insane this year.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you can't really expect the same from Junior, and that's not even shade to him. It's just when's the last time we saw him play at this kind of a level,
So you would like complexity?
I think complexity is still advanced, though. I think you can put them through at least. I will go with the 0-3s for now because I'm still kind of thinking about. And I think that's Chinggis and Fluxo. I think those two teams at the moment I would just put as the worst of the field.
Now, is there any variance here with strikers picks? Because mine are the same, and I think there's a big drop off in Mongolian Counter Strike after you. Yeah,
I got Metizport 03. I think they're dog, man. I think they're so bad. I really do. I really do think Metizport terrible.
Prof loves Hampus. You're just dunking on his boy.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I like Hampus. He's a great guy. It's just unfortunate his team's not very good at Counter Strike.
But you think that, so obviously the matches need to work out in a certain way for them to be playing against weaker opponents, right? But their opening game is against Wildcard, so we got the twin off.
They lose.
Who is the best twin? I would agree that they'd lose that opening game.
Easy peasy, they lose.
But then if, let's just say that they're in the 0-2 match against Chinggis Warriors or Fluxo, do you think that the pedigree of Swedish Counter-Strike is not good enough to get past either of those names?
I think it's very possible that they would lose to either of those teams.
Bloody hell.
I really don't rate Metizport. Dude, Metizport can't win in tier 3 online Europe. They are really not good. They lost to Alliance recently, man. Alliance.
That's a domestic matchup. That's all.
I don't care. Alliance are crap as
count.
well. I literally don't care. Alliance are also crap. Okay.
I mean, you
talking in this caliber of CS, when you're in the same stage as Heroic and FlyQuest and okay, maybe not FlyQuest, but I mean, you can't be losing to these types of teams. I don't care.
The thing is, Chinggis Warriors will win a best of one. It's just 100% going to happen. How? Unfortunately.
On vibes, bro.
So how many matches of Chinggis Warriors have you all three collectively watched?
I watched a bit of the
Prophet at the Mongolian lad, and he's a fucking expert, man. Shut the fuck
Compared
up.
to you guys, I am. So...
He's gonna say Coolast is the simple of Mongolia.
This is true. No, individually pretty sharp. You know that they're pretty sharp individually. Their team play is questionable, but also at this event, they only lost to Heroic twice. They practically, they've been beating everyone locally in games that matter, at least. So I think they'll
locally, bro. That's Eruption and fucking Huns and shit. What are we talking about?
The Huns are good, man. Don't.
The thing is, if they got the opportunity to play against a big or a bait or whatever, they probably would have.
They lost to bait.
Say
this.
They literally lost
this
the
guy's name, Prof, for me. How do you say that? I put it in TeamSpeak. How do you say that?
Let me just open.
They literally lost the bait. Mesa event.
Doesn't matter. Let's just keep the vibes going.
Fake news. Only lost to Heroic twice. No, they didn't. Literally lost to another team at this stage.
You were at the event, bro.
Lost
Bait
to
is kind of good.
In a different tournament as well. I don't think they lost to this stage.
TYLOO is the 3-0 team, probably.
That's what I was. I was kind of looking at my power ranking. Actually, the next best team I put was Wildcard, but I'm not actually sure I would put them 3-0. To be honest, though, it just doesn't feel like that. I would just rather go with the vibes and go with TYLOO.
I put TYLOO.
Okay, interesting. So we've had some differences with the 0-3. Mine and Strikers are the same. The two of you have something different. Prof, what did you have for your 0-3?
I mean, mine was kind of a meme, to be honest. So, but I had Fluxo. For me, they were the obvious pick. I had Imperial, but it could be anyone, to be honest.
Okay,
could be Chinggis Warriors. Makes sense.
We've had a lot of Asian upsets though. With every time somebody picks an Asian team for 0-3, they just fail.
Yeah, but there's heaps of Asian teams in this one. I just don't think Chinggis Warriors are going to be the ones to make the upset. Dempz, who did you have? You had Metizport.
I had Metizport. Yeah, I had Metizport and Chinggis Warriors. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So it's Fluxo. You're an art fan. Okay, and then you want to put TYLOO as your other 3-0 team striker. Yeah. Is that correct? And other people agreed with this?
I agreed. That's who I had.
Yeah, same.
Really? Okay. I'm kind of surprised.
I think they're just going to outfrag so many teams in this stage. I think they're just going to shoot their heads.
It's interesting because they also have three rookies. They are one of the least experienced in terms of line and all that stuff.
I have a slide for that.
Yeah, there you go. So
we'll get to that at some point.
Would it be Jemyoung, Mercury, and Mozia, right? They are the three rookies, and then G played with Linvision last time, Attacker obviously, has played it a few.
He's 50 years old.
Yeah, he just forever young. He's an old mate Attacker. Look, TYLOO for me is a little bit I actually really like the firepower on the team. I was high on them for a while there, but then Jemyoung left. Was it Jemyoung left who came back? Right? He was saying he was going to Valorant, but then he came back.
That was the rumor,
it's where it didn't work out with Starry. I guess there was some kind of personal issues there because Starry went back to Linvision, so there was something that didn't go down quite nice there. But yeah, I like TYLOO, but I'm going FlyQuest 3-0 because I'm crazy. Now, listen, everybody, if you can't tell by my accent, like all the Americans and lifts around here, I'm not British, I'm Australian. Even though I have a British passport. So, you know, we've got a bit of both. But I'm going with the boys. I'm putting FlyQuest in 3-0. I think that in terms of their progressions with ins in-game leading again, I think that they should have enough. They should. You know, I'm being delusional. I'm being biased for once.
I think they should advance. I think they should advance, though. I think they should advance.
Well, it's because I have Fluxo 0-3. I think that, you know, FlyQuest should win that opening game. And then from there, who knows what happens. So that's what I've gone with. Who are TYLOO playing in the opening game? TYLOO are playing against NRG, which I think is a closer matchup than FlyQuest Fluxo.
Yeah, but they're both, I think, pretty one-sided, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah, I have NRG as the third worst team at the event, so...
If you want, I can just fill in some stats from the HLTV users for the 3-0s and the 0-3s.
Yeah,
we decided on this. So the most popular picks are Heroic, by far, 23,000. Complexity, 11,000 for 3-0. I think a lot of people don't know that they are playing with a stand-in, to be honest. And then after that, it's BetBoom, 5,000, and then Bait, Wildcard, OG, TYLOO. So TYLOO is quite, you know, they're like 7th highest.
Who's picking OG?
OG is like the 6th highest out of, okay.
For 3-0s, yeah. And then for the 0-3s, Chinggis Warriors, 18K. This is a bit more split, like not as high as Heroic. And then Fluxo, those two, then 10, that's 10K. Then Linvision, 4.5. Legacy, NRG, Metizport, TYLOO. What the fuck? Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. So Chinggis Warriors and Fluxo are the super obvious ones, with Linvision and Legacy following. I think Legacy will get a win. I don't think they were that bad. Obviously, they lost in the...
I think they're all right.
They lost that game to Bestia, but I think, you know, I think Duma was right. I think they win that 9 out of 10 times.
Jesus, you're doubling down.
No, slow down.
Argentinians, please do not tag me in Prof's fucking... Like, don't tag me. I'm not saying anything bad. If anything, like I think that your player should have been able to play.
Tag him and say,
tag Prof.
Don't spam Chad, so you get tagged anyway.
Tag Prof, all right? Okay, so Striker, let's complete this, shall we? Who do you have to go in 3-1 or 3-2 to advance?
So as I said at the beginning, I think Complexity still make it.
Okay. Drop it a
go with them. I would go with Bait, FlyQuest. Easy, you can follow that.
Bait, FlyQuest.
I would go with BetBoom.
Okay. 2 spots left. You get
major
away from you quick, mate.
It's all good. Yeah, I mean the rest. I think it's more that I just don't believe in a lot of the others, rather than.
Okay.
If anything, I think Wildcard. Honestly, I think Wildcard are pretty underrated. I think they're going to make it. That was really legitimately. I think I put them as the 3rd best team of this stage in my like power ranking. Like, I think people are just kind of sleeping on their recent results. They've been some pretty good teams that I don't remember now. I just did the research like a week ago, so I would have to go back and see why I made this choice. But I remember the thinking. And then last one, I would go between Nemiga and Linvision.
You have to pick one of the two. I can't let you go between, unfortunately, Striker. It's not in the rules.
I think. Oh, that's a hard one. I have them right next to each other in like my little power ranking. Like those are the two, like 8, 9. I have Nemiga above, so I'll just go with that.
Okay.
I'll go with Nemiga.
Okay, so there's a couple of questions I want to pose to the group. Does anybody have OG going through?
I think I do, yeah.
Prof, why? Actually, Dempz was quicker with the no. Dempz, why don't you believe in OG? They have Nikados.
I mean, their results aren't that great online. They're not terrible, but they're also not that great. Like, they're losing to like fucking Spirit Academies and Paravisions and like Bet Booms and stuff. Like, they lose to these teams. And that's the kind of caliber of team you're playing in this stage, if not a little bit better. And I also just like Nikados is really good. Outside of that, I don't really believe in their firepower. I'll be honest.
Fiku's there though, bro. Surely that's getting you excited.
Fucking hell. I like Fiku. He's a funny guy. That's all I'll say on that.
He once stuck a fork into the electricity socket.
Yeah, he once stuck a fork in an electrical socket.
Explains a lot, doesn't it?
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I mean, I think in their defense, I think like they're just a team that plays a lot, so they're going to lose sometimes as well. Like, they have some stupid losses, but they just play a lot of teams. So they beat a lot of teams that are not that impressive as well. But it's just like the place where they are in the world and the invites and everything that you're just kind of stuck on playing like fucking 4 best of 3s in 3 days, and then you're going to lose.
I don't think they're
whatever. Bad. I think they're pretty solid. I think, you know, they have some nice players. You know, Spook is kind of not a bad shout. Chrism. I don't know. I think they can make it through. That's just it's a vibe based.
I had them as well.
In depth.
I had them as well because I think that there's a group of players here who are in teams that are all extremely inexperienced at this level of competition on LAN, especially. So you're kind of picking your poison because you're like, okay, well, one of these teams is likely to get through with this lack of experience, but which one is it going to be? I've been an OG hater since the early days. Even that initial roster they put together with MBK and stuff, I was like, this is fucking shit. Like, they've just got a bunch of older, washed up players, and that was at the time. And I was like, this, and then like Issa was in there. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, I thought it was shit.
Pretty good at that point too. Like, he was that bad.
But that's not dunking on the players. It's just the way that they put them all together. Like, these are all good players if they were in the right teams with the right constellation of other players around them. It's just what they put together. I was like, are they? Because the nationality was almost 1-to-1 with their Dota team. Like, they just were missing an Aussie to play for Anna, right? And if you guys don't know, Anna's a just carry player for OG when they won. Anyway, it's not the point. We're not doing Dota.
Nobody cares.
No one cares. But the nationality was almost 1-for-1, like the whole way through. They had like a French guy, they had a Finnish guy, right? And I was like, are they just doing this on purpose? They think this is like the recipe.
There was a Danish guy. There was Valda.
Yeah, I just didn't get it. Anyway, I'm turning the corner. I think, the new OG, they've finally been able to get some players together who could be on the up and up.
They just stopped playing. They just stopped acting like they have a chance. Yes. Basically, like they just stopped caring about being a top team.
They had to do that. Yeah. They needed to do that. That's something that needed to happen. Okay. Who else? Well, what
honestly,
other names?
That for me is like, it's between like a Nemiga and an OG, and like, okay. I didn't see too much on Nemiga. I only saw them like at EPL where I can't remember what this game was. I need to go back and check, but they were supposed to go through, but they kind of shit the bed. Do you remember, Chad, what happened? Oh, it was a Pain game. That was Pain, yeah.
Wait, sorry. Hit me again? Not literally.
The last game that they're playing to advance to stage 2 was against Pain, and they had like a huge advantage, and they flubbed it. And that's where I got like, I don't know what I think about this team, and I haven't seen so much of them since, but I know that a lot of people are high on them, so I'd like to hear as to why a bit more.
We're talking about Nemiga, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't it Zwei? Isn't everyone just high on Zwei? Isn't that it? And Khan a little bit on the AWP?
I think they've just consistently been like somewhere like along the top 30-ish of Europe, and like for you to stay there for such a long time and be able to hang with those teams consistently, I think is pretty tough for a team. And with that kind of play time, I think they have a lot of experience from like the online grind and all that stuff. Even if they're rookies, I don't think it's going to matter too much. And yeah, Zwei is great.
I think that's the thing. Like, Zwei's the condition, right? If he is okay in this LAN environment with the major, right? That's the key point for Nemiga for me, because I had a tough time. Like, I'll be honest, I didn't put NRG, but that's because what I saw from them wasn't very exciting. I also didn't put Cole because of the standing thing. I think Halzerk is so important for that team. But I think the problem I have there is he's so important for that team when they are playing against other good teams, or maybe not other good teams, but good teams. He can be one of the more influential figures there. But I don't know. Like, I think maybe I'm overrating the rest of the field compared to Cole with Junior as a stand-in. Like, they should still be serviceable, right? They've had a decent amount of lead time with this. It's just, I guess, the last couple of tastes of Junior haven't been the best. So, yeah, I think the BetBoo one's a solid pick. I think, they have a really decent core over there. I don't know why they don't perform better than they do. Maybe this would be the event where they can actually start getting through and getting some good results. But I think that this stage is obviously the hardest stage to pick your 8. Like, I think that there's a few reasons for that. One, a lot of these teams aren't always on the circuit, so we don't get to see them all the time. The other is the fact that they're not always on the circuit. We don't know how they intersect with each other, right? That was the regional diversity of this stage of the tournament is one of the key factors for me that I think is quite interesting.
Like Chinggis Warriors, for example.
Well, they're my favorite team there.
Oh my god.
Okay, so my pick'ems are a little bit different in this, but overall very similar. And the thing is, because we don't have that break between stage 1 and stage 2, doing the pick'ems for the next stage is going to be really tough, and we're not going to be able to do it on the show. So Yeah, did we want to take this and see how this would sync up with the teams who are already waiting in stage 2? Do we want to try and bridge that conversation? Because obviously we're taking a punt here. We don't know exactly who's going to
We could do that. We could do that kind of random.
I mean, honestly, like a lot of these teams I would put above some of the a bunch of the stage 2 teams, and I did then like my little power rankings. So I think that's some good conversation to have.
Okay,
Let's take a look.
Yeah, so those teams, if you go back to the slide, Lucas, there's like slide 10 is the teams from stage 2. So we can see how these kind of intersect. So I'll read it out again. It's Falcons, FaZe, 3D Max, Virtus.pro, Furia, MIBR, Pain, and M80. How many of those names, Striker, did you have above these names here? Like M80, Pain, MIBR?
So Pain is the big one, and that's more results-wise than rather than my actual belief. Like, they should be better than they are. Like, they legitimately should be recently. Good, but they've won like one match in the last 10 or something, like since they got DGT. Like, it's kind of crazy how much they've tanked. So purely results based, I think that they're bound to have one good result at some point, but like we haven't seen it so far, so I don't really believe it. So them I would put a bit below like Heroic, maybe even like Wildcard. Complexity, full complexity, that's the problem. Like I don't really know what to expect out of complexity, but at least them, I think I put that's M80 in there in this stage. I always forget that they actually made squeezed in. Yeah, that's the big one for me. I think even Furia I put below Heroic, just barely.
Okay.
I think it's more that I just think Heroic are better than a lot of these teams rather than the opposite way, for example, And if Complexity had been in their full lineup, that would have been another case like that, where both of these teams I would put somewhere like 4th, 5th best of this stage.
Bro, the Falcons to the rest of this group drop off is insane.
FaZe is the only other bright spot.
Yeah, FaZe is simple, bro. Just you wait.
I mean, FaZe, then Falcons, then FaZe, huge drop off. And then FaZe to the rest, also huge drop off, crazily enough. But we saw them play 3D Max twice recently, even with Brokey, and they would fucking destroy them. So that's not great. Virtus.pro, some rumors already that Electronic is out, which is not a problem because they're making a change, but just proves that even they think that this is not working right now. So, we're on the same page.
Electronic is toxic as fuck. So that him knowing he's out is not going to be good for the team.
You think he's not going to handle this gracefully?
He's going to slap someone.
I would love to see that. I don't want there to be any violence, but if we're going to have it, let's have it in Counter-Strike, shall we? Not to the degree. Yeah, now I've said that. That sounds bad. Just a little bit of, okay. One thing that I think is important for people to keep in mind is the reason that we have so many teams of like Brazilian or even North American with M80 in this representation is based off of the previous major. And at the moment, the region of Brazil, which is essentially all of South American Counter-Strike, is not too hot. Yeah. So I'd expect more spots to go to Europe for stage 2 next time round, right? And this is just going to be the constant ebb and flow of the way that the majors work.
Can you go back to the pick'em thing? I don't know if you can still show it because I don't remember which teams I actually picked.
I think I'm still sharing it.
Yeah, I was just going to look at how many European teams I picked to go to the next stage because the 1, 2, 3, 4 only.
The only one you didn't pick is OG and Metizport out of the 6. So I picked 4 out of 6.
So 4 out of 6. That would have increased their slots by 1 over whoever it is, I guess. Okay. Anyway, I was just looking at how many European teams I actually had through.
Well, I think it's not impossible that all 6 make it, if I'm completely honest. I don't think it's that great. That's actually one of the what are the odds that I wanted to put on. Okay. It would be kind of low, but I think it's possible.
Very feasible. I think it could be Slot-ageddon for some of the other regions like this major, genuinely.
Well, how low can it go for Asia, right? Because this is the first time that they have, 6 teams, right? Or is it 5 teams? Well, how many we got?
No, it's 4 teams now.
Well, Mongols.
Mongols is straight and then 3 teams in stage 1.
There's 4 teams in stage 1.
Oh.
TYLOO, FlyQuest, Chinggis, Linvision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's 5 then.
That's 5. So how many slots can they min out on here? What can they go down to? There's a base.
The minimum is 3.
The minimum is 3.
Okay. So this stage, they could only lose 1. But if Mongols drop out, well, actually, they would still then go down to stage 2. There would be a stage 2. So Asia will retain 4 spots because of Mongols' high placement going into this with stage 1, right? Does that make sense?
I think so. I wouldn't.
No, it's
be
4.
able
No,
to-
it's 4. Like this stage is up. Is the base. I mean, what we see in this stage is the base. That is
So it
6
can't
plus
move.
6 plus 4.
So it can
Like
always
at least
be 4
At
teams.
least 4 is going to happen. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And it's just what the Mongols is the only one that increases it at the moment. It is because they made it far right last time. So
Yes.
that's why they're invited straight to stage 3. But this is the base. Like four teams is the base.
So it will stay as 5 in the next major. Like even if Mongols don't go deep, it will
Yeah.
stay as 5.
Yeah.
Right. So there we go.
Yeah, they could start like they could have the top one. Like if Mongols go out in the stage 3, right? They would just have the top one start one stage earlier, which would have been stage 2. You know, or yeah.
Can I just address this? Because I've seen this question coming a couple of times in Twitch chat. People saying, is it even possible for both Chinggis Warriors and Fluxo to be 0-3? It is very much possible because you can't predict all of the results. You don't know who is going to beat who in what order and when, right? So like it is possible, right? Because there's other results that have nothing to do with Chinggis Warriors or Fluxo, which could impact who Chinggis Warriors and Fluxo play, right? So just keep that in mind. Okay, where were we?
All the higher seeds win, they would be Fluxo and Metizport at this point. So good job, Dempz.
Yeah,
or that
that's
you had
if
Chinggis
all
and-
the high
Chinggis
seeds
and
win.
Metizport.
And the likelihood of that happening is pretty damn low.
But that means where the fuck would Chinggis win then? Which game? I'm just looking at which game is they would be. Oh, Metizport against Metizport.
Yeah,
that's the only game.
I think they could beat Metizport for
Okay.
sure.
People are saying they'll meet in 0-2 no matter what. I don't.
That's not possible.
That doesn't.
I
That
don't think
literally.
I don't think that's a possible thing to say. Like
Literally,
not no matter what, guys.
I changed one result of the higher seeds, and it doesn't happen. So
People are crazy, bro. Like I don't understand. Like anyway, I don't
Like,
know
there's
why.
a little- like, we
Calculator,
actually
the calculator
did the simulator
obsession
on the site.
is,
It's very-
is
and it's like, you know, like the idea that you would predict every single match when it's 2 rounds of best of ones and get it right, like as if we don't have at least like 2-3 upsets happen in one of those 2 rounds at least, you know.
Well, yeah, that's it, right? Because I think this stage can have some of the most.
I mean, that
Upset.
legitimately, I think every single team has, well, maybe not Chinggis Fluxo, but I think otherwise every single team has a chance to go through.
Of getting through. Okay, big statement there from Striker. All right, let's jump back into the slide, shall we, Lucas? We'll go through the last couple of these, and then we can put a bow on it. And we got some other bobs we need to get through as well. So we'll do the fixture sit now. This is from, where is it? Esport Charts. They do some stats and numbers. I saw you guys put out one to do with the players like this just today. I think it was to do with the youngest players, but I grabbed this one from the other day. So thanks to Esport Charts for this lovely graphic. Youngest players, you got Zwei, Mazinho, Snow, Donk, and Jimmy. So, you know, we've got some young lads in attendance there. Zwei being the
It's very
youngest.
similar to last year, actually. Only,
Zwei's, right? The only different one. Yeah. The average age is 23.3. So I think, you know, we're talking, do you guys consider like Counter-Strike players primes to probably be around 24 to 26?
I mean,
Something like that?
we had, like, Harry did a little like research into this, and I think what his result was something like 22 to 24, basically. So this
Okay.
is this
A bit
is
younger,
pretty much
yeah.
on par, right?
Okay. Sorry?
I was
Dempz,
just
you
going to
go?
say, I think with reaction times being so important in CS, it's probably a little younger than, like, you know, someone's physical prime in a sport, for example.
This is ancient data, but like back in the day, in the Championship Gaming Series, everybody. So this is over a decade ago. This is 2008 when I was
It's like
in.
2 decades ago, bro.
Fuck off, mate. Not that close yet. No, we kind of are.
Wasn't it 2006, like the first year of CGS?
2007.
Okay,
Then-
sorry,
then,
18
yeah.
years now.
That's fine. They did like some reaction speed tests back then, and one of the things that they were saying to us back then was, the reaction speeds start to go down at 25, right? They were comparing it to traditional things like fighter jetlets and stuff like this. So this is ancient data. I'm sure there's more recent stuff, but
I
either
think
way,
that's been debunked, by the way. Like
It
that,
probably
like the
has.
decline doesn't happen until, like, any significant decline, even on this level, doesn't happen until like late 30s or something. I don't know.
late 30s. Okay, well,
I'm just a little. I will 100% say I'm pulling that number out of my ass.
Dr.
I just,
Striker, we
just
call him.
literally can't remember the actual number.
Well, speaking of old motherfuckers, Carrigan, 35, Madge 34, Fallen's 34. His birthday was just the other day. Happy birthday, Fallen. Apex at 32, and then Snacks at 31. And then you've got the oldest team being FaZe at 28.9, because I think like Elysian
Jesus.
Simple are both like 27, and Carrigan and Rain pull them up because Rain's just turned 30, Carrigan's 35, and then Frozen's the young veteran at, I think he's like 12 years old, but he's not young enough to pull up the average. Youngest team is Bait at 20.6. They're all fresh-faced. Anything interesting off of this, gentlemen's?
No, Mongols are not the youngest. I guess that's the interesting one for me. Like Bait are babies. I mean, I think it's pretty similar.
20.7, yeah.
There are something like that. So yeah, those two teams are babies. And I mean, that's one of the things not that I don't like about Bait, but I feel like they need a lot more experience in some of these games. And people will be like, oh, they made the 5-0-2 to 5-2 comeback, but they also do some very silly things in rounds and throw away leads that they really don't have to. They really don't have to do that. So I think that's kind of a factor for Bait, even though they're a pretty good team overall. I think they lack a lot of just experience and consistency that comes with age.
Well, that's fair enough. You know, we get wiser as we get older, Prof. All right, next slide, Lucas. This is the players' country distribution. This is thanks to esports charts as well. This one is not huge to talk about, but Brazil still with the most players, and then Russia. Nothing's really changed in that department. Those two have been towards the top of the conversation for a while now, with a lot of regional representation for the both of them. So nothing too crazy there. I don't think there's a lot to take away from this, because once you start getting down into like the 2 and 3%, it doesn't
Sweden
really matter.
Sweden,
well, a bit of an uptick, yeah.
Because obviously Metizport plus
Fuzi.
Fuzi
with the wildcard guys. You could have had more. You've got LNZ and you've got Youngster as well from Heroic. So a couple of names in the mix there. Otherwise, that's about it with that. Any other fun stats there? Nah, cool. Next slide, Lucas. This is one of HLTV's own that I've liberated. These are the rookies. So the biggest problem I have with this is how to say some of the players' names, especially is it Aracul?
Ariukul, I think.
Ariukul. Jesus. Yeah. Okay. So that's probably the hardest one I was going to have going on there. But in terms of this, the star names, right? Like Jota on Aurora, he's in stage 3. He's the only rookie in stage 3. Then you've got Molodoy, who's only recently made his way to Fury. He'll be in stage 2 alongside of Breno, and then the 3 lads from M80, and then everybody else will all be starting in stage 1. I think the names that jump off the page here as exciting to see as rookies, Zwei, obviously, we touched upon him. I think Jota, but he's a more established name in the community now. Tanir, you definitely. We've spoken about the aim of the players on the TYLOO guys. Probably, I'm curious to see how Magnajez does, because he had a bit of shine on him for a while there when he was like Donk's sidekick, but then he's kind of been replaced by Kyosuke, so he's no longer Donk's sidekick.
What do you mean? I mean, that was the whole Stown fucking beef with Donk and
is that
and the little
it?
chat. That's
I
it,
didn't know that. Tell me about the beef striker.
I don't know. The thing is, I don't know what happened. Like, what's the actual trigger? But apparently, that was a reference to Magnajez.
What's Down's really okay? So we don't know what Down was saying to Magnajez.
We didn't know what happened there. No,
you strike me as a dirt sheet reader. You must know.
And I mean, the Down just talks a lot of. Not even shit. He just writes random stuff in chat all the time. Like we saw it multiple times now. He just puts a little smiley face, and that just tilts people. It's like, what is this about? And then things just start. You know, he just needs a spark to start a little altercation in this kind of in this situation.
People in chat are wild. Okay, anything else with this?
No, I don't know. Dempz.
Nedic?
I'm interested to
Dempz.
see Netic, yeah. I think he's got the potential to be a really good player. I think he hasn't quite settled on FlyQuest yet, but if there's a time to do it, it's now, and they've had a bit of time to boot camp, and it's it's the major, man. It's the time to get up for it.
Where did they boot camp?
In the States. I think at the FlyQuest facility. I don't know if that was in LA or not. I saw them at the airport yesterday. I didn't really get a chance to chat to them, but they've been in the US. So have Falcon, so have FaZe, so have Furia. Furia were in Miami. So I don't know if there were any other European teams who were here for lengthier stays of time, but that's...
Did anyone see the story that Yakindar posted when they got to Miami? It's like Yakindar, I think Molodoy, I don't know who else.
And Keserato in the middle.
Keserato and Fallen in a car, in a convertible, driving in downtown Miami with some music blasting. Literally, dude is living Vice City. in his life. It looked so vibes. Honestly, wouldn't practice a single day if that was where I was. But I think they will. I'm just saying I wouldn't.
I think that's why we're not in a major.
I think there's multiple reasons, but that can be one. That's also true.
Just won't be playing.
And I might be in front of more people than Furia will.
Damn, that's vicious there. Okay, next slide. Lucas, next slide. So this is the major vets. So Karrigan and Apex are going to be attending the 20th. 19 for Rain. Then we go down the list. 17 for Fall and 16 for Snacks. 15 for Elige.
What's the overall record right now? It's still Dupree for attendance, or no?
Only 22 majors. So which one has Dupree missed? Dupree missed after Paris, right?
Yeah, Dupree will be on 20 now, right?
Yeah, so there's Paris 3 of them.
This one.
Yeah.
So they're all tied, I guess. Okay. So Apex and Karrigan gunning for more records, or Apex more likely to, it seems like he has more years to keep this going.
True.
No,
where he is right now.
Actually, now.
Okay, so these two are on the top.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got new record holders. The Guinness Book of HLTV records says.
Oh, he's missed 3. Because he didn't attend Copenhagen either.
Oh yeah, forgot about Copenhagen.
So he wasn't in Copenhagen, Shanghai, and now this. So that's Apex and Karrigan on top.
Okay, well that's actually quite a big stat line. So the most major, there's only been 22 majors, and Karrigan and Apex have attended all but 2. That's pretty sick. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
All right, cool. Couple more slides and then we're done. This next one is, you guys can find this. I can't put the link. I'm not logged in. You guys can go to Blast's website. And on their major page, you can find the conflicts of interest tab, and you can go there and there's a Google Drive link where you can actually go into these. And I'm going to do that now so I can read some of these. We can talk through this. When we were talking about this in WhatsApp, Prof pointed out that the simple conflict of interest is not here. I don't know if that's because Blast haven't updated it since the simple stand-in situation is manifested.
Also, I guess technically the heroic one, because they said they needed to say it, but it's not there. So it's also another one. Heroic to G2.
I saw in some bias.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're also not in the Google Drive, right?
Yeah.
So those PDFs have not been uploaded in the
that whole
in the Google
conversation was
Drive.
interesting. It was where they told they had to do it, but because we've had we've had these situations in the past where we've had changes coming after the major and basically confirmed, and it was never disclosed. So I'm curious where it's coming from for heroic.
I mean, even shouldn't it be valid for all tournaments? And we had Odyssey, for example, wasn't disclosed at all going to Falcons, even though it was reported and everyone knew. But he obviously did a media day with Falcons and an interview with Banks before he was announced and before 100%. That tournament was over, and it wasn't disclosed. So no one was really talking about that. No one said anything. I don't know why.
I mean, technically, I think as part of the TOR or whatever, I'm pretty sure that's also something that is required on teams to disclose some of these things, so it's also interesting.
Look, I don't, on the overall, I think it's probably better that the transparency of any of these things comes through, but I also think Graham was on Feed the Trolls recently. If people want to go watch the episode, it was with Tech Girl Duncan and Graham, and they were talking about the Bestia situation, but he was reading some stuff from the TPA, what is it, Tournament Player Agreement? Participation, not player. That's a better word. It encompasses more than just the players. But I think that type of a document should also be made public. And Graham said as much. He said it should be part of the public record, especially with how the VRS and all of this should play out. So I would love for the TOs to come forward with that. If not, like we said before, we can just get that information ourselves and then just talk about it, which is probably not something they would like us to do. But it should be out there, because this is the whole point of this new world order we find ourselves in with Counter-Strike, is the transparency. It's meant to be avoiding any of these backroom dealings. So that's a post-major conversation. That's the one.
We are very in our fuck, I can't come up with the word. Never mind.
Is there one of these that leaps off the page that you want me to read out, guys, to give people an idea of the conflict of interest? No? You're not interested?
No.
No
one's interested?
I remember some of it, for example, the Metizport one was interesting just because there was a deal where they sold the players with some clauses in mind that if they make it to the major, they would get more money for that player after the fact, so Metizport is due some payment from Wildcard. I don't think there's actually a number disclosed, but Metizport is now due to get some money from Wildcard for that transfer. Funnily enough, when they're about to play each other, that's pretty cute.
Metizport hereby declares that a financial interest exists in relation to the player Susp and his team Wildcard. This includes a performance-based bonus payable to Metizport in the event Wildcard qualifies for the upcoming major in Texas, as well as a percentage share of any future transfer fee should Susp be sold to another organization. Sounds like Metizport got a real good contract here.
Yeah.
While this arrangement may result in a financial gain for Metizport, it does not afford us any direct control or influence over Wildcard's competitive decisions, nor does it impact Metizport's operational integrity or involvement in the tournament. Now, I want to make this clear. That's just a written statement from the party of Metizport Wildcard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's not like a lawyer or anything. That's just a statement that's written and put out there. Like the last part is hilarious. It's like, while this arrangement may result in financial gain for Metizport, it does not afford us any direct control or influence over Wildcard's competitive decisions, nor does it impact Metizport's operational integrity or involvement in the tournament. It's like, all right, I guess. If you say so. Right? Like
they didn't include the mind control clause in the transfer.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah, that's the one we needed. But that's just an example, and people can go and find all of these if they would so like to, right? The links are out there on Blast website. You can go and have a read, and you can find out that information. All right, where are we at here? Last slide, please, Lucas.
And the most important slide.
This is HLTV confirmed live from Austin. This is going to be going on Wednesday, the 18th, between 7 and 9 at a place called Texas Union. It's going to be on Twitch and on the other platform they're on right now. And if you bought tickets, you essentially bought a tank top. If you didn't buy tickets, they were free, and the tickets are sold out. Is that correct, Prof?
Yeah, the free ones are sold out, and the other ones, there's still some left. I think we sold like 175 in total, like combined free and the tank top ones, and there's like 300 in total. So there's less than half left in like a day or two.
So still tickets available if people want.
Yes.
Okay, and you can't buy these tank tops anywhere other than if you come to the show. Is that correct?
This is correct. This is the only way they will ever be distributed, because distributing clothes is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it's going to be, look, I want to just let everybody know out the gates right now, if you are coming to the live show, and actually, even if you're not and you're going to be watching online, the live show is going to be a bit more all over the place. There'll be more things happening. The idea is to engage the live audience. It's not just meant to be another podcast where we break down X's and O's and go through all the details of matches and stuff. Obviously, we'll talk about the major and everything that's going on, but it's meant to be a bit more lively. It's meant to be a different experience. It's not meant to be the same as if we were doing it in this environment right now. So just want to have that disclaimer currently. So that's the end of my PowerPoint presentation. Overall, with the major, gentlemen, does it feel like we're there? It's about to start? Like, I don't have the kid before Christmas type of vibe, but I'm here right now. So does
there
it feel
we go.
like...
Let's just go into fix your shit, because that just makes sense. It just makes sense. We can just do that.
Maybe it's just because I woke up early. Maybe that's why. And I'm just not... I'm not feeling it. I just woke up, Prof.
This is going to be my take, which is not like a completely new take, but ultimately what you just said is the major has bloated up so much that it's losing its appeal. The 32 team major can exist, and I'm not against 32 teams, but I'm against the format it has right now, because it's taking away the joy in my eyes from the tournament, and especially because the seeding is pretty good. And I felt this already last year with Shanghai. I didn't feel like the major until we got the top teams playing, and that was in the second stage then, and now it's going to be in the stage 3. So we're essentially going to have like 8 days of warm up, 8 days of teams that are mostly not going to win the tournament, and the team that is an outlier here is Falcons, but that's more of a mistake than anything else, that they're in stage 2. A lot of teams that are kind of cool but don't have any chances to win playing. So how can that be the major? Like, it doesn't feel like the major. It's a play-in at best, right? So in my opinion, should be different. It should be different. We should have all the teams playing at the same time. That's my honest opinion about the major format. Ask a question. I have some more thoughts, but
it's the age-old debate though. Like, because I can immediately throw the trump cards out there that it's tough to battle forward to. You know, like if I say, well, that's extremely costly. Where are all the resources and everything going to come from?
It doesn't even have to be longer. It could be 2 16-team Swiss groups, and you just play that out, and you go into a playoffs of 16 teams. That's it. Could be just like that. Doesn't have to be that complicated. And you don't need to play like 32 teams at the same time. You can play 16. The 8 that win can chill around for 4 days, and then the other 16 are playing. So that's like 24 teams at max in the same place, but only 16 playing. Completely fine, completely fair. Everyone starts at the same time, and no, like, what is the point of watching? Like, I know that, let's make fun of Pro for saying Heroic is doing 9-1 in the tournament, but Heroic will probably, pretty likely, they make stage 3, right?
Yeah.
How many games of Heroic do we need to watch in a major? Why are we watching 7-8 games of Heroic? It's ridiculous. Maybe 10. Maybe they go like 3-2 in second stage. Maybe they play the same team multiple times because they play them in first stage, but then they advanced and then they play them again. Like, it's so bloated. It's so bloated. It's like the European Union. It's just like bureaucracy and just like paper pushers everywhere. It's like, we don't need all of this. We don't need this many games to decide who the winner is. And that's going to be proven because the winner is going to come from stage 3 probably anyway. And they're going to play maybe less games than the Heroic, who's not going to even make the playoffs.
I think it's tough to argue with that perspective of things. The only side that comes out is like the tournament operation / logistics side of it, where that's where things are a little bit harder to tussle with, I'd imagine. But I think that the overall sentiment I'd agree with. I think that, yeah, just the idea that we may have to watch one team in all 3 stages then to potentially not make the playoffs is pretty redundant. I think that I don't have a problem with the expansion to 32 teams. I think it's great because more people are going to get fed off of sticker money. But yeah, I was actually in a different position with it, and I was like, how can we have what is meant to be the culmination of our season end with best of 1s and a best of 3 final when all of the other top tier tournaments that I showed on that graphic are all doing best of 3s with best of 5 finals? That's the one that is like baffling to me, right? It's like, if we want, it'd be more bloated in the current format with Swiss if we had best of 3s the whole way through, Prof. You get even more maps out of these teams, right? So that doesn't solve the problem you were talking about there. But I just think the sense that we still are running with best of 1s, even we're in the era of MR12, and all the other TOs have gone in the direction of dropping the best of 1s. Like ESL removed it from their opening stages now. It's all best of 3s. So you would like to see that change happen. And if it was what you were talking about, like 2 16-team groups and it was just best of 3s and a best of 3, sure, there's potential for less games for the teams. But this is the thing. It's a fucking competition. It's not a charity. Like, you're not meant to be guaranteed a certain amount of matches. I used to go to fucking majors and play 2 best of 1s with a randomizer decider for the fucking map. We would veto down to 3. Like, I think that we can be a bit more cutthroat with the format. And I don't mind the idea of what you said there of kind of amalgamating everybody into something a little bit bigger, which, yeah, just would mean, if it means that Valve have to put up more money, that's the only problem, isn't it? Valve pay more, but they have a money tap. So I don't think that should be difficult, should it? It's literally open all the time. They're fleecing us all the time. Dempz, you got anything on the format? I saw you nodding along in agreement with Prof there.
Yeah, I'm just on board. Too many teams. Watching Metizport versus OG at a major, shit. Best of 1s, shit. No best of 5 final, shit. Like 3 Swiss stages. Like, just get me out, man. We need to really rethink the major format.
Striker.
Do we like the time period though? It's like 2.5 weeks. I think the amount of times.
I mean, it's been the same for a lot of the majors, so I don't think that's particularly a problem for it to run for that long, to be honest.
The majors are only in the hands of Valve, though. I know that this is the thing. People should definitely not levy any blame towards any of the TOs who run these events, because I know that the TOs are definitely trying to get the more standardized things in play, like best of 5 finals, for example. But if Valve don't say yes, then they can't do it ultimately. So there are a couple of issues with that. So it's essentially conversations that need to be had with Valve.
We need to have better conversations with Valve, better data. Show them why this is shit, and maybe they'll adjust.
I'll go on record.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go on record. I told them this in Shanghai.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So just a quick question with this, because what was the major that we had where we were going into the final and like all of the last 8 finals or some ridiculous number had all been like 2-0 finals up until that point? I might be over it.
Copenhagen. Before Copenhagen was the first one that broke that, I'm pretty sure.
And at that point, it was like 6 or 8 or something like that major finals.
Yeah.
It was quite a big number in a row.
It was a few.
And I remember talking to them about it at that time, and they were like, well, we need the finals to be competitive first before we even start talking about a best of 5, right? And it's like, well, okay, well, hard to argue with like that. That's quite cut and dry. And then the last 3, right? Copenhagen was 3, Shanghai was 3. I'm not missing anything, right? Yeah, the last 2. So maybe we need, I don't know, maybe we need 2 more before they start. Actually, no, you know what? Presenting them the data of how the best of 5 finals have gone this year is probably a positive thing. We just use the information we have from the events that aren't majors and go, hey, this is how the best of finals have run. How does this stack up? So that's probably the best way to deal with that in a conversation. But there's definitely a conversation to be had, and they're normally good at listening.
Then they will look at it and they will see one team always goes up 2-0 or some shit, which happened a few times. That they'll be like, well, it would have been over by that point. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is probably what they would say. Yes. So
God forbid we get more viewing hours from our last day.
Well, but think about it, right? Like they don't look at it from the hardcore perspective. They're looking at it from the how did he explain it to me? This is a while ago now. And then maybe they've changed their take, because I remember one of the devs said, Chad, we've heard you say on podcasts that the major is marketing. Like, we don't want you to think about it like that. We want to think about it like this. The Counter-Strike user base likes watching high-level Counter-Strike, so we help facilitate a Counter-Strike tournament, which I think in technical terms is actually called fan service, which is part of marketing. But
in anime, it works kind of different than that.
Yeah, a bit more skin. But with that in mind, you have to remember that there's a reason that the rule set is the same as what people play in matchmaking, other than the overtime rules, right? So they clearly want to make sure that it's palatable for their player base. So that's probably where a lot of the decisions have to get passed through initially. But anyway, don't compare it to TI. They're not the same devs. They actually hate each other. The Counter-Strike devs and the Dota devs, they have different flaws. And when they see each other, they have to like be like cats and hiss and spit.
Is it true that the Counter-Strike devs pull wedgies on the Dota devs and also 100%. Put them in locker rooms and lockers?
Swirlies as well in the toilet. They're flushing their head. They're going, these little fucking little wizard and pixie clicking nerds. They're just getting fucked up by the Counter-Strike guys. So, you know, don't talk about Dota like it's got anything to do with Counter-Strike. They're not the same. They never will be. Anyway, I like Dota. That
they were also very open to the possibility of changing the format down the line. They were just like, yeah, this is just step 1 of the expansion, right? So there's every possibility that they will actually listen to reason.
There you go. Strikers dropping bombshells. Maybe we could.
I mean,
honestly,
I do think like that there. I wouldn't assume that there was a push from like TO, from like Blast, to make it a completely different format. I wouldn't assume this, right? So it would take both sides to be like, both, let's say Starladder being like, we want to do it differently, and also Valve to then be like, okay, because Valve's not going to just like create a completely different thing out of thin air, because that's not what they do, right? Yeah. They'll wait for someone to come up with a concept, push it towards them, and then they will approve or not approve. So I still think there is responsibility on the TO in a decent amount there. I don't know. I would like to hear if, like, I haven't heard anything, if Blast asked for a best of 5 final and they got a no. Like, I find that weird, if I'm completely honest, but maybe it is.
I will say, when I asked DSL like why they haven't really run their own like player seeding and all that stuff, this is from like 2 years ago or 1 year ago. It's no longer
possible now. Yeah.
No, I mean, now it's not possible. But at the time, like when they ran Rio, like that was their first major after 3.5 years, right? They literally just forgot about it. They just forgot that was a thing. They never really followed up on that. And you're like, well, like I guess that happens.
Yeah. Well, I think that this is the other side of this, is that if the TO doesn't think it's logistically possible, then they're never going to offer up like what Prof said in terms of 2 4-day 16-team group type things. And I know in the past, like people would just have to check some of Uli's tweets. He'll come out and he'll mention like, yeah, but that's, a lot more teams or whatever, and it means we need more hotel rooms and everything like that. And in the current climate with these TOs, I would say it doesn't seem hugely likely that they would try and push for something like that. Maybe that'll change in a couple of years.
I mean, it's not gonna change until the community says something about it, right? Right now, this is the first one with 3 stages, right? So we'll see how people feel after it. I think I know how they will feel. That's my take.
Fair enough. We didn't do the bingo card, which we were going to do in terms of some of the cliches, the things that could happen throughout the major.
With everything that happened today, I think I'm just glad we went live, honestly.
We did, yeah. But we got Dempz here. Dempz, you got some hot takes. Now, we were talking on last week's show about creating a bingo card and putting things on there that we know that people are going to complain about throughout the course of the major. Or might have positive things to say, but I think most of it was leading in the direction of complaints. Some of the good ones were best of 5 final, which we just touched upon. What other major cliches are you expecting to see come out from the general community throughout? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but maybe you got something at the tippy top of the dome.
Yeah, not just a best of one, but like a favorite team loses a best of one. So like a team that's like much better than the team they're playing against. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, best of ones are so shit.
Yeah, that will happen. That is classic. That everybody loves that one.
There was always some co-streaming stuff going on. That's a classic for majors.
Yeah, that is a classic.
It does seem quite. I mean, this is also not new. This came out a few months ago. I remember seeing it from Blast, and I sent it to to Donna, and I was like, "Oh, does this mean like Onlypixel is not gonna do anything?" And it's like, "Nah, we have a deal." I was like, "Okay, that makes sense." So it's just for essentially the plebs. You need to if you're no one, you need to apply and then see what happens. Essentially,
yeah. I spoke to one of the PR guys over at Blast. I don't know if chat just dropped or what happened there.
Hello?
No, you're okay.
Yeah.
But your camera just went out.
I'm on hotel Wi-Fi.
They said this is the most like co-streaming they will do for any of their tournaments ever. Like they just got a lot of people, I think, flying to location and all that stuff and covering the event like from co-streaming perspective. And yeah, it's pretty clear that that's kind of their mantra. That's their approach, that they just do a lot of co-streaming from location, rather than a lot of random people, I guess. I don't know.
The co-streaming conversation is one that I always find is a weird one as a member who's on the broadcast. So it's not one that I want to leer into too much. Yeah. They can.
Another little piece on the bingo card could be buttholes. Anytime and somebody sees a matchup that doesn't make sense, they'll be like, that's his fault. That guy's fault. That's another one.
And he's got a great name for it. Talent drama. Someone just said in Twitch chat, we've already had a little bit of that, so you can tick that one off on the bingo card.
Didn't expect that Croatian-Serbian connection there on Twitter causing a shitstorm.
What a wombo combo.
That's a 1-2 alley-oop right there. Not planned, I can say that. I just thought, I mean, it's always kind of a similar thing. It's hard to say anything in cases like this because like I also get hired sometimes, and I don't want to be like, oh, I'm calling something because I want to be there or whatever. But I really have so many opinions as a viewer of Counter-Strike that I can't express because I don't want to like influence or like step on people's toes or whatever. I felt this was a fair one. For multiple reasons. I just think Dinko is really good, and it's weird to like break up duos for whatever reason. And that's it. I feel like he deserved to be there. Fun fact: he never casted a major on site. I'm pretty sure. So
that sounds right. He was in Brazil, but he was there for some like sideline content
or something. Exactly, then he did like interviews for Blast for Paris, where he got a lot of shit for interviews he didn't even do just because he has a British accent and other people have British accents. Funnily enough, like did nothing wrong at that major, got shit for it. And then Shanghai, right. He just did remote casting. So that's it. It's pretty unfortunate, I feel like. And that's it. That's the story.
Yeah, Dinko's a good kid. Yeah, hopefully next time around. We'll find out. We'll see what happens. But okay. I'm trying to think. Do we have anything else that's really pertinent right now for us to talk about? Because the event starts tomorrow. The game's going to go live at 10 a.m. local. which for European viewers I think is a pretty good
5.
time.
Yep.
Yeah, whether or not you're going to be able to watch all the games is a different question. But it is an early time slot, and I don't think you'd want to be pushing it too much earlier local. We're going to have 8 best of ones tomorrow over both streams. So there's A and B streams going on, and then it's 8 consecutive days with stage 1 and stage 2 combined. So that's how we're going to run through a lot of those matches. And then outside of that, I'm just trying to think if there's anything. It's the first major with Train reintroduced, which I think will play in for a lot of the underdog teams, but also we'll see more of it once we do get deeper into the tournament with the best of 3s in stage 3. And in the playoffs, it might even be a bit of a pocket pick or a bogey pick for some of these teams. I don't really know what else we need to cover. I feel we've gone over all the particulars, all the details. I don't know what else people might be interested in hearing about. Looking at Twitch chat
I can
right
just
now.
speak to kind of what we're going to do a little bit differently. Just kind of like a slight adjustment to our usual like event coverage. We will have a couple of people on site, which I mean has been the case for I don't know how many majors now, but we will run like an extra live post. So we will have the one that we've done this year with highlights, which is in game, clips and all that stuff, and then we'll have an extra one with kind of on the ground coverage. So anything that we got on the ground, we're going to have like a videographer there, a couple of photographers, a couple of reporters, and so anything that they, behind the scenes content, any sort of quotes that we get on site, any photos, we will do our little no comments. If people have seen from the previous major, where we did like kind of like a day at the major effectively, and like highlights with literally no commentary, just like looking at the team's reactions and all that stuff. That's going to be up on YouTube. We're going to throw that in there. So there's going to be like an extra little way to follow the major in a way where you'll get a little bit more of a peek behind what's happening behind the scenes, what's happening on site, and how it looks, to be at a major and all that stuff, like some walkthroughs and all these things that, you would have to know where to look to get. So that's going to be all in one place.
Okay, nice. I'm just trying to think. In terms of the next episode for us, we probably wouldn't do something until after stage 2 is concluded. But I have a media day then, so I also don't have a schedule for that media day. I'll have to try and get that information today, I suppose. But that would leave us on the 11th, if I'm looking at that right. And then we could be looking into stage 3, and we'll be doing the live episode on the 18th. So that's probably what's coming up for us next. Is there anything else that's fun and exciting?
I just wanted to add also at stake, we have a top comment, not competition, I guess, kind of. So the top comment of every episode will get $100 deposited on their stake account. If that's what they want, they just need to leave their username in the comment. That's
this is the YouTube video.
The YouTube video, highest upvoted thing. That's it.
Jesus. Okay. Wow.
Last time that was you, so I feel there's something dodgy going on.
Yeah. Can I comment?
No, that was on the simple video. Video.
Okay. You're right.
All right. Cool. Okay. So I guess we're pretty much done. Dempz, you got anything?
No. Thanks for having me on, guys. Enjoyed it. Good fun.
Yeah, sorry for everybody if it was a bit lengthy with the PowerPoint. I just thought I wanted to kind of collect a bunch of things going on around the major and then see, as we were talking, if anything left off the page for us to cover with it as a bit of a conversation starter around. But yeah, all right. People asking about Ash. You're a little bit late, but Ash had to cancel last minute, which is all good. We hope he's doing all right, and hopefully we can get him on again in the future because we'd love to talk to him about Gamer Legion and all that good stuff. But yeah. That's how we found ourselves, and I hope everybody enjoys the major starting tomorrow. I think that's it. I think the show's over. I think we're done. All right, HLTV confirmed. Thanks to Anthros. Thanks to Skinplace. Thanks to new sponsor Stake. Thanks for all of you for tuning in. Thanks for Dempz for standing in. Thanks for Prof and Striker. Thanks to Prof's mum. Thanks to Lucas. And thanks to Lord Gabe himself for making all of this possible while he never looks down upon his loyal subjects. Good night, everybody.
Sell in-game items at the best prices in just a couple of clicks. We are the biggest instant sell service for in-game items like Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, and Rust. Easy selling process and instant withdrawal of funds to the most popular payment methods. More than 140,000 deals and 50,000 active sellers every month. Use promo code HLTV5 and get a 5% bonus on the sale of your skins. Skin Place. Sell items now.
When every move counts, your chair shouldn't hold you back. Top esports players are switching to Anthros for unbeatable support and performance that keeps them in the game longer. Designed to support your unique shape and built with medical-grade components, Anthros is setting a new standard for comfort. Check out the Anthros difference today and get ready to fix your sit, because gaming deserves more than just a chair.
Hey, big news for you HLTV confirmed enjoyers. We've got a new sponsor, Stake. And thanks to them, our What Are the Odds segment just got a whole lot better. Now, the wagers from What Are the Odds become real limited bets on the Stake platform. Not only that, but each wager will feature a $500 lucky winner raffle. Visit the link for more details.